And good evening. Hello, my fellow vapers. And look at this. Look how prepared 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗧𝗘𝗧𝗏 is. The show has started. And look at this. He's there. It really is. It's amazing. Good evening. Good evening. We're back.
Hi. Hey, folks. 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗧𝗘𝗧𝗏.
What's going on?
First of all, I had to go get a box of tissues because I'm sick as a dog,
I'm
right?
sick
Number
too.
one. Number two, you just put me on mute, right? And I go out to get my box of tissues, and my Nest, the thermostat, is like flashing with like a screwdriver and a hammer like this. And I'm like, and all of a sudden now my air conditioning is out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and in this room right here without air conditioning, and in Florida, it's going to get real hot real quick. So this is going to be a fun. So I'm sick. I'm going to be hot and sweaty. This is going to be a fun show.
It's gonna be a long night when 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗧𝗏𝗏 has started whining already before the show has even started. But the truth be told, that we are a little bit under the weather. I mean, Phil got sick in Greece a couple of days before we left.
Yeah.
So it was a rough couple of days of me having to do 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗧𝗏 management and pampering 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗧𝗏 at the same time. And having to work, but we managed to get through it. And then when we got back, of course, I got whatever Phil had, and I've been battling it through it this week. But we are here to do another smoker show.
Glad you caught it.
As promised. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. We are monitoring the chat on YouTube.com, and of course on Smoke Free Radio. The telephone lines are open, 215-383-5752. Brought to you kindly by the Vaping Advocate magazine. We certainly appreciate them. And of course, we want to thank our sponsors, 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗏 Joytech, 5-pound signature vapor liquid from California, My Vapor Store, myvaporstore.com, which by the way, Phil, did you know, let me bring this up. I should have had this ready a little bit faster, but I didn't. But
That My Vapor Store is having a 10% sale on 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗏 products.
Very, very, very good. But they actually, you actually had it on your tissue juice today. So I just wanted to bring it up over here.
It came through in my email, and I saw it, and I put it up there. Look, there it is.
I finally got it.
Look at that website. How old and outdated it looks. Fantastic.
but 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗏 10 for all their starter kits. That's pretty nice of them. And of course, our newest sponsor, Naked 100. And look what Naked 100 made for us. I mean,
dude, these shirts are banging. I am so excited.
Why don't you model it for us?
We did get shirts from our other sponsors, and we've worn them on the show. Mm-hmm. But they actually put I got to get this on the right. Yeah, they actually put the Smoker Show on the shirt with our logo and everything.
Absolutely, that's really. And what else does it have? It has some of the stuff that you really enjoy.
Yeah, it's got. I love stuff on the sleeves, right? Because I feel like it enhances my guns, right?
show off them guns a little bit higher so we can see the gun.
Yeah, okay. See, look at that. Yeah. It says Smoker Show on that side. I'm really flexing too, by the way. Smoker Show on this side. And on this side, there's a mod, right? And you can actually vape it.
Wow, that's impressive.
Stealth vape. Yeah.
But
I think they're cool.
Thanks so much to the team at Naked for making these shirts for us. And we're gonna have some to give away this weekend. We're at Phil. Where are we going this weekend, Mr. Phil?
Are we sure? We're sure we're going, right?
We're going for sure. We're going for sure. We never had a doubt that we were going, by the way. I just want to put that out there.
What's that?
We never had a doubt that we were going.
Of course we were going. Yeah, I know. We're definitely going to the Midwest Vapor Expo. That's this weekend. And where? In Indiana?
Lawrenceville, Indiana. Yes. Very, very excited to be there. And we will be at the 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗏 booth. So come on out. You're going to get to see our new products. You're going to get to see the 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗏 kit. You're going to get to see the chroma and a bunch of other stuff, the EQ. And we'll have some stuff from 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗏, and also we'll have some stuff from Naked that they passed along to us, and we'll bring it up to the show and pass it out to you guys that kind of enjoying us there.
Why not? Now tonight, we are definitely looking for call-ins tonight.
Yes, absolutely, and we will tell you in a little bit when that segment is going to start. But if you have somebody in your life that wants to quit smoking and you want to help them, and we here at the Smoker Show, we want to help you as well too. Tonight's the night. Also, this came to me by the recommendation of Kevin Voigt. He said that sometime in November, there's a big national smoke out. That day, we're going to do a special Smoker Show where all we're going to do is give away starter kits for smokers.
Yes,
that's going to be our way of it. So thanks, Kevin, for that recommendation. And we're going to...
So get ready if you have smokers in your lives and you want a kit. There's going to be a lot of kits given out tonight. Okay, so get ready for that. You are going to have to call in, so get your phones ready.
Yep, you are going to have to call in.
What?
You are going to have to call in to get a kit. Yes.
Yeah.
Not only kit, but you're going to get liquid too. Everything to get started. Everything. You can change somebody's life tonight. Go ahead, Phil. I'm being a little Billy Mays on that. Go ahead.
Hey, folks, Philly Mays here. Shit. All right. So, Mr. Bill Tarling, please be prepared to take information from folks as we do these giveaways tonight.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And welcome to everybody that's coming over from Scott's and Mike's show. We appreciate you guys being here. Don't forget, this is the Smoker Show where we pass on information. A lot of new information. Probably if you're an advanced vapor, might be a little bit boring for you. But I think it's vital, and it's maybe you'll learn something to tell to a new vapor or a smoker, or maybe give some help to some of the vape shops that are struggling to get new customers inside.
That's right. All of that is correct, Dimitri. Because what is the name of this? sorry. What is the name of the show, Dimitri?
The name of the show is The Smoker Show.
The Smoker Show. It's not the Vapor Show.
Yes.
It's not the Vapers Enthusiast Show.
It's not.
It's not the e-cig review show.
And you saw the little post that I made, and I tagged you on it on Facebook from the person that said they've been smoke free for the last 3 months, and they really enjoy watching the Smoker Show, and we've helped them a lot after they've been smoking for 35 years. It's posted on my Facebook, and really, to me, Phil, it makes it worth our while, right?
It really does. You know, we took a lot out of the Greece trip. It felt really good seeing people using our products to convert away from traditional tobacco cigarettes.
It really did. I do want to talk a little bit about the Greece trip. The video, the recap, the entire Vape Bromance tour is up on Phil's channel right here. I think it's an hour and 23-minute long. It ran a little bit longer than what we wanted to, but we wanted to make sure that we got everybody inside that we visited, because it really was it was a very hard-working trip. Don't get me wrong. But it was a very rewarding trip as well, too. And we got to share a lot of feedback. We got to talk to a lot of the customers. We got to talk to a lot of MTLers. We got to talk to a lot of converters. But most importantly, we talked to a lot of shop owners that continue to this day. And when you see the whole video, you'll understand what I'm talking about is that their passion is to convert smokers. And they never run out of customers. They always have customers. It's something that the vape shops here in the United States need to go back to. They need to go back to the basics and try to reach out and bring new clientele in. Unfortunately, we're not converting smokers in the U.S. like we did back in 2015 and 2016. That is a fact. I've talked to shop owners about it as well, too. The demand is not there. The people are not coming in for whatever reason. I mean, I know a lot of the reasons, and me and Phil are actually going to do a presentation of this in Las Vegas at the Vape Expo called Back to Basics for vape shop owners that are going to attend, and they want to participate in that, trying to help them build their businesses again. But a couple of really touching moments in Greece that I do want to share with you here on the Smoker Show. If you're a struggling smoker, or if you're on the fence and you hear all this fear-mongering propaganda that's going on about vaping and all that, we had a really, really good experience, Phil, at the vape store in 𝗙𝗡𝗡𝗢, right?
Yes, and there were a lot of good experiences. I mean, we're talking about
the military,
the older gentleman, the military gentleman. Okay, so the military guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and we started talking to him. He was very Greek. Imagine that. There are a lot. I noticed this.
Yeah.
There are a lot of Greek people in Greece.
Yes,
and a lot of people speak Greek over there.
Yes.
And it's something that I have to get used to. Most of the times, I just sit there quietly, play on my cell phone. But sometimes I understand what's going on. But this gentleman did tell us his story, and it's a really good story. And you know, it reminds you why we do what we do, but it also reminds me that you're never too old to quit smoking, right? Yeah. Don't think that, you know what, I've been smoking for this many years and the damage has already been done. I'm just going to continue to smoke until I die. I don't know if it's a really good way of looking at things. If you quit right now and you move over to vaping, if you quit right now and do nothing, your lungs are going to start to regenerate. Things are going to start happening. You're going to start feeling different.
Yeah.
And you know, we did this on a show a little while back with Alpha Liquid and some of the materials that they put together. And I think we need to revisit that in a future show. Okay. But I want you to hear this guy's story, and hopefully you can take something out of it.
And also keep in mind that sometimes you watch the show, and of course, me and Phil are vapors. We create vapor products, and you say to yourself, "Oh yeah, you sell this stuff, so of course, you're gonna say it's the best thing about it." Which I hope you don't. I hope you know by now. I'm 10 years in this industry that we always trying to convert smokers, and we always have. So it's good to get a different perspective. And this is just a customer. We met him that day. Military guy came to the vape store to say hi to us. He uses our products. He's quit smoking. And he brought his 2 kids. His 2 kids were sitting outside the vape store. It's just a wonderful story. And I'd like to play that for you now. All right, so this is a little special video that we shot for you here at the vape store at 𝗙𝗡𝗙𝗧 for the smoker show. Just kind of give you some testimonies on how vaping has helped a lot of people quit smoking and improve their lifestyle. This is Vangelis. He's actually in the Greek military here. And Vangelis, how long did you smoke for?
2,5 χρόνια περίπου.
Πόσο κάπνιζες από πριν?
Κάπνιζα 15 χρόνια.
15 years and how many cigarettes?
2,5 πακέτα, 2,5 πακέτα, 2 με 2,5.
At least a standard 2.5 packs of cigarettes a day. A day for 15 years. Και μετά πήγες στο γιατρό, έκανες μια εκτενογραφία.
Έκανα εκτενογραφία, εξετάσεις, μου είπαν ότι πρέπει να το κόψω γιατί θα επιδεινωθεί η υγεία μου και ότι με αλλεργίες μπροχίτιδες και είχα πρόβλημα. Το είδανε, λέει να σταματήσεις το κάπνισμα γιατί υπάρχει κίνδυνος για την υγεία σου σοβαρός αν δεν το κάνεις.
So here in the military, you're required every year to do an annual checkup. So you go inside and they do X-rays in your chest and they check your health, being an officer of the military. So in his last checkup, he went and the doctors actually wrote on his paperwork, you need to quit smoking or you're basically going to die. So, και μετά?
Στην επόμενη εξέταση, αφού είχα κόψει με ένα φίλο που με βοήθησε πολύ, μου έδωσε να δοκιμάσω. Το δοκίμασα το ηλεκτρονικό, μου άρεσε. Λέω σίγουρα θα βοηθήσει. Μου είπε ότι θα βοηθήσει. Δοκίμασέ το, δεν έχεις να χάσεις και κάτι. Αφού ούτως ή άλλως και αυτό είναι ένα υποκατάστατο, θα σε βοηθήσει. Το δοκίμασα, μου άρεσε στην αρχή. Λέω ωραία, εντάξει, όλο ηλεκτρονικό. Μία μέρα, δεύτερη μέρα, συνέχισα ένα μήνα χωρίς τσιγάρο, τίποτα. Τρίτο μήνα. Μου άρεσε, συνέχισα, δεν έκανα ηλεκτρονικό, δεν έκανα κανονικό, πέρασαν 7 μήνες, θα πάω το επόμενο τσεκ, να κάνω πάλι τις εξετάσεις που κάνουμε εμείς στο στρατό. Έκανα λοιπόν τις εξετάσεις και μου είπανε, δεν καπνίζεις, λέει, λέω μια χαρά γιατρέ, όλα καλά, λέει μια χαρά. Λέει, δεν καπνίζεις, λέει, το ηλεκτρονικό, λέει, εντάξει, μια χαρά εξετάσεις σου, είναι όλα καλά.
So another friend inside the army, actually is one of the customers here, told him, hey, why don't you just try an e-cig that's going to help you quit smoking. Just promise me that you're not going to smoke, at least for the beginning, so you can get used to it. So he tried it, 1 day, 2 days. He actually liked the transition from smoking to vaping as well too. Next thing you know, fast forward 7 months of completely staying away from cigarettes, he goes back to do his annual. And it was a different doctor, which is kind of fun as well too. They did the X-ray, and the doctor told him, everything looks good. So he was a little bit surprised. So he said, hey, what do you mean? Is everything, what does it look in my body? And the doctor said, you don't smoke? He says, yeah, but I only quit 7 months ago.
Οι διαφορές που κατάλαβα εγώ έτσι στο σώμα μου γι' αυτά, καλύτερη αντοχή, δηλαδή μπορούσα να περπατήσω πιο άνετα. Βήχα, δεν είχα καθόλου βήχα. Γιατί ξυπνούσα για τα παιδιά καμιά φορά νωρίτερα από ότι να πάνε στο σχολείο με το βήχα μου. Λέω πάνε νωρίς ακόμη, δεν έφτασε το πρωί να πάμε γιατί ξυπνούσα νωρίτερα για τη δουλειά. Και εκεί που πήγα να ανασάσω, έκανα μια αναπνοή βαθιά με το τσιγάρο. Ενώ τώρα δεν βήχα, δηλαδή.
So aside from what the doctor told him, which actually looked good as an X-ray, his own body, he suffered a lot from allergies like you feel. He would cough in the morning. His kids would wake up before it was time to go to school from his coughing. He couldn't take deep breaths. All that has gone away. So, the reason why we're shooting this to tell you is that, there's a lot of people out there that e-cigs have, benefited their life and their health. But most importantly, if you look outside there, these are the 2 reasons why he wanted to quit smoking. So now you feel good and you're going to be around for your kids too.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Maybe you need a Yaris. It's a car.
Oh, you cut it off too soon.
No, I didn't cut it off too soon. I had the Yaris in there, but truly the guy was just it's a great story. No matter what you tell me about vaping, no matter what the governments and these corrupt of public officials, no matter what you tell me, stories like that are proof positive that vaping can not only change your life, but can improve your life, your health, and prolong your life to be around for your kids, period. So I don't care what anybody tells me. People like that, and I know there's millions of people like that. We were just very happy and privileged that he happened to be there at the shop and come see us that night.
Absolutely. It was a great story. And as soon as you started telling the story, that's when I wanted to go grab the video camera and the microphone and have him share that story with everybody here.
Yeah. And Yaris is a car. It's
Yaris.
Now everybody's going to start making. Jesse said it's a bloated go-kart.
It is.
Thanks a lot.
It kind of is.
That.
Jesse, would you do 160 kilometers per hour in a Yaris?
Of course. Breeze. I got you there safe, and I brought you back safe. Another really feel-good story at the shop the next day, or 2 days later, we went to Corinth at Dr. Anti-Smoke. Make sure you get it right, Phil.
Dr. Anti-Smoke.
Dr. Anti-Smoke, not anti-vape. Again, a store geared towards converting smokers. And I'm telling you, if you're a vape shop owner, and I know a lot of you send your employees to watch this show, if you're a vape shop owner, a manager, or an employee, listen to me and listen to me closely. There is no future. There is no future in vaping. There is no future in your job security. There is no future in the vape shop unless you draw new customers. And the new customers are the smokers. The smokers are your new customers, and eventually the pod users and the IQOS users when it's released here in the United States. But right now, it's the smokers, and the shops need to stop this mentality of catering 95, 96, 97% of their inventory to existing vapers and try to balance that out again to bring the smokers in, because unfortunately, the last couple of years you have lost that direction. So, Phil, we were at the Corinth store, and what happened there?
There were actually two new vapors that came in. One we actually talked to. One was on the other side of the shop. That's that photo that I sent you. Mm-hmm. They were working through some Inican product. I think the choice was between the Chrome or the Cool Fire and the EQ. I'm not sure which one they decided on and which one they left with. But we were talking to a couple, and he was a vapor, right? And I'm not sure if it was his wife or his girlfriend that he was trying to get involved. And she liked the Cool Fire kit. She thought it was cute, right? And sometimes that's all it takes, guys. Different products are going to appeal to different people for different reasons. And she really liked the Cool Fire kit. And we talked to her more about it. We set her up with the Cool Fire kit and some e-liquid. And I had the opportunity with Dimitri's help in the translation to show her how to use it, which was really cool.
Let's take a look at this video, and I do want you to pay attention as the video ends at the expression this young lady has when she takes her first puff. I just want you to watch that, please.
Μην πας τώρα ρε, όχι ρε, ξεπάρα το μυαλό σου, πρώτα θα είναι κλειστός ο Παρασκευάς τέτοια ώρα. Το ξέρω την ώρα που με πήρες ήμουν στο γυμναστήριο, αλλά τώρα τέτοια ώρα Παρασκευάς είναι κλειστός.
1, 2, 3, on. Now with this coil we're going to
Ναι,
start
αλλά άμα
low.
σε δει κανένας που το βάζεις, δεν είναι εύκολο να ανοίξει την πόρτα του φιλός, να σου βγει κανένας.
Even go start low, start like 12 watts, and then she try and then work way up.
Και γιατί να μην το αφήσεις αύριο.
With this coil, I wouldn't go anything higher than 14.
Μέχρι 14 βάτ με αυτό την αντίσταση.
Πήγαινε, αλλά πιστεύω μήπως το έχει βάλει και μέσα από Παρασκευάς. Γιατί δεν τα αφήνει συνήθως έξω το βράδυ τα αυτοκίνητα.
Oh, clouds, bro.
Bravo.
So I have two comments here to make on this particular video, okay? And once again, pay attention. This young lady, just from the look in her face, I know. Number one, she's going to be a loyal customer to the store, right? If she continues with this and she stops smoking, and I'm very confident that she will be, she's going to be a loyal customer to the store. So from a business perspective, you've gained one new customer. Number two, she's a woman. Women are very loyal, and they really promote the stuff that they're using to their girlfriends. So she's going to bring her cousin, her friend into the store that smokes should get that same experience that she got that day that she come. These are two vital steps for any business to continue to gain new customers and to expand. Would you agree, Phil?
You know, I would not only agree, but I would expand that further. You know, people struggle. Everybody knows, smokers know that smoking is not good for you. They know they're killing themselves, right? But it's this addiction that's a very, very hard addiction. It's a very, very hard habit to break. When you go into a vape shop and you work with somebody behind the counter, and you know there's a good rapport with that person behind the counter, and you know there's some good conversation, and you wind up settling on a product that works for you. You have a bond with that person unlike any other bond, because that person actually helped you break that addiction. That person helped you break that addiction and break that habit. I mean, this is something that in my earlier days of going to shows was something that I've seen, I saw and heard over and over and over again, that people felt like they had this really, really strong connection to me because it was through my videos or through my help or just watching me, right, that they were able to quit smoking. And they will never forget that. They will never forget that. They'll be your loyal YouTube subscriber, or more importantly, they're going to be your loyal shop customer, right? And they'll continue to go back to your shop for their coils and their e-liquid, and they will always be appreciative for you helping them break that addiction, right? So that's such an important thing for the folks who are behind the counter. And I would imagine if you're doing it correctly and you're converting smokers on a daily basis, it's also a very, very rewarding thing.
It really is. The last thing that I want to say about this video is this girl told us that her boyfriend made the classic mistake that a lot of men do. Yeah. So if you're a vapor and your significant other, male or female, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, smokes, don't do the classic mistake of pushing all your equipment on them. Just because it works for you and it tastes delicious to you doesn't mean it's the right piece of equipment for them to quit. So, of course, he has drippers, he has tanks, RTAs, and all kinds of stuff, sub-ohm tanks and all kinds of stuff like that. And she told me that she felt like, A, number one, she wasn't satisfied, and B, like she felt like she was failing him because he was just, here, try this. Why can't you quit? Quit with this, quit with that. Stop doing that. Take your girlfriend, take your significant other, go into the vape shop like this guy did. Let her look around. Let's find what's comfortable for her. Let her try out liquid, okay? This girl tried out liquid in an MTL setup, okay? Again, this is very, very important for vape shops to understand. If you're going to try a liquid, a sub-ohm, with 0 or 3 milligram and then give it to them in 12 milligram nicotine, and then it's not going to taste the same. She found the liquid that she wanted. Her eye got attracted to that 𝗘𝗡𝗡𝗢 kit. She picked it up. Done. Right? So don't pressure your significant other just because you have quit and with your equipment. Just let them find what works for them. And of course, they have to be ready to quit.
And, you said something there that was really key too, Dimitri. You said, and this is what I noticed from a lot of vape shops when you go in there and you try flavors, right? Typically you're trying only like whatever tank they have the liquid set up in, right? So you're at this flavor bar and you're maybe having an uncomfortable experience because you're not used to direct lung. If they are using that type of tank, right? You're getting an unrealistic representation of what that flavor is going to taste like in your setup, right? Because your setup might not be a direct lung. It might be a mouth to lung, especially for somebody who's just converting. I've run into many, many different liquids, and there was that one. Do you remember that, like, kind of like this orange marmalade? I call it like orange butter.
Yeah.
I loved that liquid when I tried it, and it was in a direct lung tank, and it was being hit with some pretty high wattage, some pretty high temperatures, and I loved that liquid. They were nice enough to send me that liquid in a 12 milligram, right? Because they knew that that's what I wanted. Do you know I found it absolutely unvapable in a mouth to lung setup?
Yeah, I believe it. Absolutely.
100 and completely% unvapable.
Happens to me
because
all the time.
there was so much sweetener that was being bogged down because it wasn't being hit by that, that high wattage and that high temperature. Yeah. It just didn't vape the same, right? So I think it's really important, and maybe something that vape shops should think about is not only having, a tasting bar, but also have an experience bar.
Yeah.
And, once people understand the experience that they want from vaping, whether that be direct lung or mouth to lung, they should then try those flavors in that same experience. If, of course, your vape shop has the opportunity to have that type of thing.
And Daniel Morrison, comment from the chat, he had that same very experience. He feels bad because he hasn't been able to go to one shop that helped him correctly and wants to spend money there. So are you listening, vape shops? You are losing out. Number one, helping smokers quit. Number two, you're losing out on money. You're leaving all this money out on the table and people are going online and buying their stuff because you simply cannot cater to them. So change that mentality. Change that mentality, especially with the FDA breathing down our necks. The end is near. And I've always been kind of this guy of alerting the industry of some of the stuff that's coming up. And I'm seeing more and more that these vape shops are just completely ignoring smokers. And if you're ignoring smokers, you're definitely ignoring the future of your business. All right, let's take just a quick break, Phil. A quick break, and hear from one of our sponsors, and we'll be right back. And we appreciate Anakin. And there you go. You see Phil Busardo standing up with his lovely shorts. His timing is just impeccable, I'm telling you. But I do agree that the experience is very, very much needed. And having said that, we do want to go back and bring this kind of up to you. It's kind of like a refresher course, if you want to call it that. But more so than that, it's for you to understand what options you have out there if you want to begin to vape. And we're not saying that direct lung is not an option for you to start vaping. Absolutely it is. If it's something that you enjoy doing and you find yourself more comfortable transitioning to that, it should be an option. But in an experience bar, as Phil is saying, you should know what all the options are and then find the one that matches and fits your personality better. Right, Phil?
Yeah, absolutely. Are we going to talk more about vape shops and some of the things in vape shops in this show?
No, not in this show. I do have a presentation ready, and I'm kind of work on it leading into November when we go to Vape Expo to kind of do this presentation in. But I think that we should do that in a separate kind of segment of the Smoker Show, maybe a pre-recorded one for about an hour and put it up that way, because a lot of the live viewers are smokers. Pardon me, or people looking to transition, and I just don't want to take that much time out of this particular show. So I'd rather go back to the basics, right? Go back to the basics. And we've done this one time in the past. It was a little bit more abbreviated. This one, we've kind of simplified it a little bit more, and we're not going to spend way too much time on it. But, your journey to vaping, starts here. There's just a lot of options out there, and we want to make sure we navigate, and me and Phil kind of dissect some of these slides as we're going along. So first we have to see what basic types of vaping equipment out there exists, okay? And obviously, more and more popular in 2018, what you are seeing is, especially in gas stations and C-stores and some vape shops as well, is the pod system. And again, this kind of breaks down into a few different categories, an open or a closed pod system. And what is the difference between an open and a closed pod system, Phil?
Well, let me explain it to you, Dimitri.
Thank you.
An open pod system is a pod that you can refill with an e-liquid of your choice. Of course, you do have to select an e-liquid that's going to work proper in a pod. Mm-hmm. And a closed pod system is a pod system that you cannot refill. So once the pod is empty of e-liquid, you throw the entire pod away, which of course would include the coil, and you replace it with a new one.
So it's kind of like a plug and play, and it's basically just you throw the entire thing away and just get another one that's pre-filled and put it back into your device.
Correct.
And also, we do have a disposable type e-cigarette, and you'll see these usually in the gas stations. Not very, very rarely will you see it on in a vape shop, and it's kind of like a cartridge type system where it's round. It kind of looks like a regular cigarette. It's metal. It's a little bit heavier. And then that has cartridges, again, that are disposable. You basically just kind of screw them on, you start vaping, and when it runs out, You toss it out and you're done. Now, the pros, of course, on these pod systems, they're just very, very easy, right? Very, very plug-play-ish. You don't have to do anything, no settings on it. They're relatively cheap to start, okay? And I have it on the pro and the con category as well, too. Because, you can get a nice, good pod system for $20-$30. If you want to just try vaping, and usually these types of purchases are kind of impulse. You walk into a C-store to buy something else. You see it right there on the counter, and you're like, oh, okay, it's $20, whatever. I'm going to buy this disposable and try vaping out. But the cons on this, they don't perform as well. It's usually a weaker type of vapor. It's a small battery. The batteries don't last very, very long. And, of course, it becomes expensive long-term, right, Phil? Especially if, let's say, you're going to carry on a pre-filled cartridge system.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
I was kind of leading you into the cost of a jewel. I'm sorry.
Oh, is that
I should have been a little bit more. I should have been more descriptive. But yeah, go ahead.
Do you have that slide ready to go?
I sure do.
Okay. So if you guys watched the last show, we did a cost breakdown of different ways to vape. And one of the ways to vape was a closed pod system, and I used the Juul. But I kind of looked at that a little bit deeper. I talked to somebody at the Greece event, and they said that they were going to do something like this. But when they figured out the cost per mil, I think they figured it out the wrong way, and it came out extremely, extremely high.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at it a little bit different. So let's take a look at the difference in the cost of e-liquid comparing a Juul pod to standard e-liquid, okay? So a Juul pod holds 0.7 mil of e-liquid. That's all you get in that pod, okay? Now, the average price for a Juul pod is $4. So the person that go ahead.
I didn't say anything.
Okay. So the person that I talked to said, okay, I'm going to use that $4 as the liquid price, and I'm going to calculate it that way. Well, no, you really can't do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that pod has some additional costs. There's the cost of the pod itself, there's the cost of the coil, and there's the cost of filling it. So I subtracted $3 from that $4 price. And I think I'm being pretty conservative there. So now, if we look at the cost of Juul e-liquid at $1 per 0.7 mil, the equivalent price for a 30 mil bottle of Juul e-liquid would be $42.86. Mm-hmm. The equivalent price for Juul e-liquid in a 60 mil bottle would be $85.71.
Kind of sounds like New Jersey with taxes. I mean, Chicago with taxes. That's about as high as liquid's going to go.
That's printer ink right there, folks. So if we compare that now to standard e-liquid, so first of all, we'll look at the Mr. Salty e-liquid on MVS. That's a salt e-liquid, comes up to 45 milligrams, if I'm correct on that number. For a 30 mil bottle, you can get a 30 mil bottle for $14.99. That is a 65% savings over Juul e-liquid. Now, if you go into standard e-liquids, and of course, we're going to use our sponsor here, Naked 100 e-liquid, 60 mil bottle of that from MVS is $18.99, a 77.84% savings over Juul e-liquid, right? So, these are just some of the things that you should think about when we're talking about cost, right? Yeah. It is much cheaper to go into an open system and fill it yourself. Even the coils themselves, folks, would a Juul pod last longer than just a single fill? Probably. I think in most cases you're throwing out, a perfectly good coil. Of course, it's nice that you get that fresh coil every time, but there is a savings if you fill it yourself. And a lot of these pod systems now are very, very easy to fill.
One of the things that we do want to bring up with the pod system is that the cost to me kind of is irrelevant. I way overpaid for my first kit as well, too, as long as it gets you to quit smoking. But there's other options out there. So once you get past that hurdle of quitting smoking, you should explore those options, especially if financially vaping becomes, in some cases, as we showed you in the last show, it can become very, very expensive. Another benefit that the pod systems have in the majority of pod systems that you're going to find in a C-store have a tight MTL draw. It's going to mimic a cigarette, right? It's going to mimic. Very, very few pods have a direct longish in that type of setting, meaning, you know, the $20 to $30 range. So it's very good to transition from smoking to vaping with a pod system like that, because you're going to mimic a cigarette. When you move up to the open systems, as we're going to show you now on the next slide, you're going to understand there's going to be a difference between an MTO setup and a direct lung setup. Both of them achieve delivering vapor and nicotine to your body. The inhale is completely different, and we've talked about that a lot in the last episodes. And of course, prime example here, the pen style vaping equipment, right? So the pen style, and I've got two examples over here. I got the Anakin T18, and right next to it, I have the smoke stick. Both of these are considered a pen style mod. So the pros, obviously, for this, the form factor, it's round. It kind of reminds you of a cigarette if you prefer that. I know a lot of people that like Phil's wife, do prefer that style of mod. They're a little bit more powerful than the disposable e-cigs. They have a larger battery life. It's going to make you last longer and a little bit more customizable, right? A lot of these tanks are kind of removable, and you can switch and mix and match. But the cons here, Phil, not as powerful as, you know, the next level up, more expensive, obviously, than the disposable. And I want you to explain, Phil, again, here I got the two examples. These are two pen style mods that vape completely different.
Yeah. And you know, the average person who's looking at these devices, you know, if you're coming in off the street as a smoker, you look at these and you would think that, well, they're going to work exactly the same way, right? But they're really not. I mean, one is a mouth to lung device. The other one is a direct lung device. So again, the difference is when you're vaping mouth to lung, it more mimics the experience that you get with a cigarette, right? Mm-hmm. You take your puff, your drag, you bring that smoke into your mouth, and then it's like a two-step process, right? Into the mouth, stop, and then into the lungs, right? Mm-hmm. Direct lung is much different from that. For those of you who smoked the funny cigarettes back in the day or even yesterday, it's much more like that. You're taking the vapor or the smoke directly into your lungs. It's a one-step process. So I will demonstrate mouth to lung, and then Dimitri will demonstrate direct lung.
Oh, so sexy. Yes.
You have anything ready to go there, pal?
Yes, absolutely. Always ready. I'm always ready.
I know you are. So mouth to lung, little puff here. Okay, so that's a mouth, and I held it in there a little while longer. That's why you didn't see as much vapor come out, but I'll do it the way I would just normally do it. Okay, that's mouth to lung vaping.
Fantastic. And now I'm going to demonstrate direct lung vaping. And you know, this is a little dead giveaway. You'll see how big the drip tip is, a little bit bigger tanks on the sub-ohm stuff. This is a new tank I'm testing out. I think it's from Joytech. But anyway, here we go. This is direct lung vaping. We're actually going to take the vapor bypass my mouth and take it directly into my lungs, right? Here we go. And obviously, you're going to see a whole lot more vapor production. It's just more powerful. The power that's needed for these devices is obviously larger than some of these smaller devices can handle.
And it's not only just more power that's creating that additional vapor, right? The power is definitely part of it. The coils that are in the tank are definitely part of it. But it's also the volume of vapor that you're getting, right? Yeah. Because when you're mouth to lunging, pretty much the maximum volume of vapor that you can get is what you're putting in your mouth and then bringing into your lungs, right? When you're direct lunging, the volume of vapor that you're getting is filling your lungs, not just your mouth. Yeah. So that's another reason why you see so much more vapor when you are direct lunging versus mouth to lunging.
Right. And also MTO satisfies something that the smokers crave, and that is throat hit. There's a comment in the chat. Janine says, salt nicotine doesn't justify my want for throat hit. And I think that throat hit is very, very important, and you're definitely going to get that with an MTL type of device versus a direct lung where you have very, very low nicotine. You don't really feel a lot in your throat, and it goes directly into your lungs. All right.
And that is something that we should just probably touch on real quick. You know, salt nicotine versus, and I hate the terms. I hate salt nicotine. I hate
regular
free
nicotine,
but we're going to use them. Okay. We'll call it the salt, and we'll call it regular.
Yes.
The purpose of salt, I mean, the reason why it came out on the market, in my mind anyway, was to allow a person to use a higher nicotine concentration, but not get that really, really harsh, rough throat hit that you would from a standard nicotine at that same level. Okay. So imagine a standard nicotine freebase, right? At 50 milligram, that would be extremely harsh. That would be, I mean, even hard for me to vape, right? So, I mean, that's one of the purposes of salt, is to smooth out that throat hit. Now, for some people, that's going to work, right? For some people like me, it's absolutely not going to work, because I need that throat hit. I need that throat hit thump that I get in the back of my throat from vaping, right?
I'm going to blow your mind right now, and I am going to probably piss off a lot of people. I have another theory why salt nicotine came out. Do you want to hear it?
Oh, you're gonna piss off a lot of people?
Sure.
I can't wait to hear it.
Because regular vaping is not as addictive as using salt nicotine. That's why salt nicotine came out.
Ooh, that's a conspiracy
I'm
theory.
sorry. I truly believe that, because I know from myself in using these products and using salt nicotine, I know that it's more, your body craves it more than regular nicotine. And all these years that we've been vaping, when we quit smoking, we never had that need. I mean, we could walk outside the house a couple hours without our device. I just don't think it was, addictive enough. That's just my personal theory, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hate mail on that. But anyway, we can explore that at a future episode if you want. We got to move on. I've got this thing timed out. We got to move on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's
Here
move
we
on.
go. Another basic type of equipment. Phil, you want to take over this?
Sure. We have box style mods, also known in the Greek language as box style mods. The pros, most powerful of all e-cig options, lots of vapor. You know what? I don't even want to put lots of vapor in the pros, because the amount of vapor has nothing to do with the box. It has everything to do with the tank, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, feature packed. That's definitely something that you see on box style devices that you don't see in most of the tubes. So not all of them, but most. So your box style devices are going to have the most features of any device. Now the cons, of course, they can be expensive. They're going to require maintenance and replacement parts over time. Not really sure about that. Maybe just they need to be replaced.
Batteries.
Right?
Batteries.
And of course, some of them are definitely going to have a learning curve. I mean, we're talking about going from lighting a stick on fire to working with one of these devices, and for a smoker to move directly into something like this, you are definitely going to have a learning curve.
I think one of the things that I want to take away from the box mods is, to me, any kind of adjustment that you do on the screen is a complex function for a smoker, right? Because smoking is the easiest thing in the world. So in the 𝗘𝗡𝗡𝗢 kit, we thought about that. We didn't put temperature control. We didn't put all that. Just open it up. You can adjust a little bit, up and down if you want it warmer, if you want it cooler. But still, even that adjustment for somebody that's 60, 65 years old is an advanced feature. So even though it's feature-packed software, I mean, it can start as simple as the 𝗘𝗡𝗡𝗢. You can get all the way up to the Proton, which I have in that slide, where it has, I mean, you can literally make coffee on this thing. It's just, jokingly, but it has a lot of features on it. So yeah, the box style mods became very, very popular because people wanted a little bit more power and some more features. But it doesn't necessarily have to be that complicated. It just gives you enough functions to give your vape a little bit of a variety, something that you're lacking usually with pens and with pod systems.
One of the things that any adjustable device is going to give you these days is going to give you the ability to adjust your wattage, okay? So you can think of that as simply a volume control, okay? So when you're lower, you get less volume. When you're higher, you get more volume. And of course, that's controlling the amount of power that's going to the coil. You have too little power, you're going to have an anemic vape. It's not going to be very satisfying. You're going to get very, very little vapor. You're going to find your sweet spot somewhere in there. And then if you go too high, you're going to wind up with dry hits. You're going to wind up burning your coil and the other nastiness that goes along with that, right? So, I mean, that's what an adjustable device is. Now, of course, we have a lot of other features. We have temperature control. We've got custom curves. We have all kinds of other things that we could do with devices these days. But just understand that if a device is adjustable, your main adjustment is going to be your wattage adjustment. And it's just like the volume control on your stereo.
I just want to give a little shout out here quickly because I got some of these messages piling up. David Maresca, 3 months, 14 days, 11 hours, comes out to 2,449 cigarettes not smoked. Way to go, you. Yes, congratulations. Dave Jenks would like to say a big thank you both for helping me quit smoking, watch the Smoker Show, and having an extra device with Stronger Nick and really helps to keep the cravings away. Fantastic, Dave, to you. Let me see. I got one more, I think. Nope, I don't have one more. That's it. I just wanted to put those little shout-outs. All right, moving along. This is something that we need to bring up because it does exist on the market. And it's a little bit touchy-feely for a subject as far as I'm concerned But I think that people should be aware. This is another basic type of vaping equipment. It's the mechanical mod. And, this is just a simple metal tube that you insert a battery. So it's extremely reliable, meaning that it doesn't have any software on there. It's not going to break on you, right? It's going to last a very long time. It's very, very simple to use. You put the battery inside and you press the button. However, it does require advanced knowledge of components and power, right? So this is something that, and I've seen people get started with mech mods, and it always blows my mind how a vape shop can actually give this to somebody that's starting out, or somebody that's a friend helping another friend out. Yeah, I've got an RDA and a mech mod here. You can start vaping. It's so irresponsible in today's age because a lot of the accidents stem from situations like this.
Yeah.
It can be expensive. It's easy to damage the components. You need to keep it clean. You need to keep the contacts clean. There's a lot of work that goes along with it. But it does exist out there, and you, as a smoker, should know what this device does.
Yeah. You can think of a mechanical as a way to get the battery power directly to your coil. Okay. That's really all it's doing. If you took a battery and you just wired it directly to your coil, that's kind of what a mechanical is doing. What you have to remember, though, in a mechanical, there is absolutely no circuitry keeping you safe.
Yeah.
Okay. If you have a short circuit, the device doesn't care. It's going to fire. If your resistance is too low, the device doesn't care. It's going to fire. If your button gets stuck, there's no cutoff. The device doesn't care. It's just going to fire and fire and fire, right?
Yeah.
So that's why you absolutely have to be careful, much more careful with a mechanical than you would with a standard device that has some built-in circuitry keeping you and the battery safe, right? So those are some things that you absolutely need to understand. You also need to understand something about Ohm's law, because when it comes to a mechanical, you have to understand how that battery is going to interact with the resistance of your attached device, right? Regulated devices, they're going to do that for you. They're going to let you know if the resistance is too low or too high. And a mechanical's not. Doesn't care. It's going to fire, right? So you need to understand that if you are going to deal with a mechanical.
The key here is to get a lot of education before you venture into something like that. Absolutely. All right, moving along. Basic types of replaceable components, Phil.
Phil, that means I'm going to read this.
Yes.
So we have mouth-to-lung tanks. Mouth-to-lung tanks. Excuse me.
Pause.
Hold on. Yeah, I got them right here. So the pros, they mimic a cigarette draw. Okay, so that's mouth-to-lung. That's what we just talked about. They are higher nicotine friendly. They have lower power consumption for the most part. They have adjustable airflow, and they have coil life. So yes, you can use a coil for, depending on what kind of liquid you're using, from a week plus. But my rule of thumb is always a week on a coil replacement. Cons: some e-liquids are incompatible. There's a smaller selection of mouth-to-lung tanks out there, especially in vape shops, right? Not a lot of vape shops carry a lot of mouth-to-lung gear these days, which is a really, really sad thing. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're not converting as much as we used to.
Yeah. Well, I think, Phil, that the mouth-to-lung tank is something that I think that the mouth-to-lung tank is something that needs to be out there. It needs to have a better selection of. It's something that people start off with, and unfortunately, in a lot of vape shops, especially in the U.S., we're just not seeing that variety for people to try. And it's not just the Zenith and the Aspire. There's a lot of mouth-to-lung tanks out there. It's just that people are not bringing them in because I keep hearing this. There's no demand.
No demand.
So when a vape shop tells me that there's no demand, to me, that means they don't have any new customers.
Right. That's what it sounds like to me. Right.
Moving along. Basic type of replaceable components.
You want me to do this one?
Yes,
too?
please.
This is where you say, Phil.
Well, I kind of leave the red carpet there for you.
Sub-ohm tanks. I say sub-ohm tanks. And the pros: largest amount of vapor and flavor, easy of use, widely available. Go to any vape shop, you'll see 100 different kinds of these. Cons: consumption. They do go through a lot of e-liquid. They require more power than typically the mouth-to-lung tanks, and they need coil replacement more often. And that could be simply because of some of the e-liquids that are being run through them.
And also the consumption is higher through that coil of a sub-ohm versus.
Well, I was going to get to that. I was going to get to that, pal. So, but you just jumped on top of me. Okay. Now, one thing I do want to point out on this slide, and it's something when Dimitri showed me these slides, I brought to his attention. He said, well, let's just talk through it, right? We're calling them sub-ohm tanks, right? In reality, they are sub-ohm tanks, because remember what sub-ohm is: under 1 ohm. So if your coil is under 1 ohm, it is sub-ohm. If your coil is 0.9999 ohms, it's sub-ohm, okay? But there's definitely some confusion out there, because people think that, well, sub-ohm is only direct lung and above 1 ohm is only mouth to lung. That is absolutely not the case, okay? Perfect example. The Zenith. The way the Zenith comes, in theory, is a sub-ohm tank, because it comes with the Plexus 0.5 ohm coil installed, right? But it's a mouth to lung sub-ohm tank. So when you see sub-ohm, you are typically going to think direct lung, right? But sub-ohm does not always mean direct lung.
Very well explained.
Thank you, my friend.
Moving along, basic types of replaceable components, Phil.
Coils. Coils are usually grouped by type of metal used in their construction. The most common choices are 𝗚𝗏𝗡𝗢, stainless steel, nickel, and titanium. Each type of metal has its own temperature and wattage range that will vary depending on the manufacturer and type of e-liquid that you're using. So, I mean, there's so many coils on the market today, guys. There's direct lung coils. There's mouth to lung coils. There's quad coils and Clapton coils and ceramic coils. And there's coils that are going to do temperature control, coils that are not going to do temperature control. It's sometimes it's a little bit difficult to sort out. I would imagine it's hard. I mean, it's hard for me to sort out sometimes. Very difficult for shops to carry, a stock of coils for every tank that's out there. Just know the tank that you're using and know the coils that it takes. The most important things you can really understand when it comes to coils is that really there's temperature sensing coils and there's non-temperature sensing coils. All right, so we're talking about the wire material that actually makes up the coil in the coil head. All right, 𝗚𝗏𝗡𝗢 is one of the most popular out there. That is not a temperature sensing coil. If you are using a coil that's 𝗚𝗏𝗡𝗢, you want to keep it in wattage, right? Now, the other kinds of coils, stainless steel coils, titanium coils, nickel coils, I don't even know if there are any titanium pre-built coil heads on the market. But anyway, nickel and stainless steel. Now, stainless steel can do both, okay? If you have a stainless steel coil, you can be in wattage and you can also use it with temperature control, which is one of the benefits of stainless steel. Titanium, you really should only use that in temperature control. Nickel, you should definitely only use that in temperature control. But I almost see nickel being phased out. Yeah. I've never used a nickel coil. I don't want to use a nickel coil. I understand why nickel coils were a thing when temperature control first came out. And hopefully if I ever get to a temperature control version of this show, or we talk about temperature control, we'll understand why that is a little bit more. But those are some of the important things to think about when it comes to coils. Anything else, Dimitri?
It's a consumable. It's something that you're going to have to change every week. It's just like buying another pack of cigarettes. It's just expect, depending on the type of liquid, that this is something that you will have to replace to continue to enjoy your vaping. And for the person in the chat that said, I wish Zenith had temperature control coils, they are ready, but they're going to be released towards the end of the year. Just letting you know that for various reasons. But stainless steel 0.5 Zenith coil for temperature control is ready to go, and it's been working very, very good. All right, moving along. This is a good one right here. I mean, this is another type of replaceable component, Phil.
The batteries. The batteries in devices. Now, some devices are going to have built-in batteries. Some devices are going to have batteries that you replace yourself. So many vape models, especially the box-style variety, feature swappable batteries. The overall power and capacity of each battery will vary depending on the brand. These are not the kind of batteries that can be purchased at your local gas station or Batteries Plus. They are a much larger rechargeable model, and you'll need to find them at specialty vape shops or online and require a special charger.
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of people, again, we saw in that picture the most common battery, which is the 18650 style. That's why I put that in the picture there. Yeah. But a lot of people don't realize that when you're looking to get into a setup like that using a replaceable battery, in the entire setup that you have, the most important component, Phil, is the battery.
Very important. Now, if you are a low wattage vapor, not as important. Okay. You know, you use pretty much any 18650 battery that you run across, and you should be happy and fine. Typically, what I do is when using a battery for mouth to lung low wattage, I look for a higher capacity battery. I like to stick with name brand batteries. Okay. So I like to stick with Sony, Samsung, LG. Now, I know there are a lot of other good batteries out there. That's what I prefer. Okay. If you are a higher wattage vapor, now you have to worry about the amp rating on your battery, right? You have to get a battery with a higher amp rating to deliver the kind of wattage that you're looking for. So those are some things to think about with batteries. The other important thing when it comes to those batteries, respect the power in that battery. That is not a AA. That is not a AAA. That is not a 9-volt. There's a lot of power in that battery. And should that battery short out, you could go into a thermal overrun. Am I doing that right, Mooch? Situation.
Thermal runaway.
Right. So basically, it can vent or it can explode.
Yeah.
All right. And you know, it's hard to explain without you actually seeing a video on YouTube. Maybe we'll pull up a video on the next show. But you know, you have to understand the power that's in that battery, and you have to respect it, right? So if you have that battery not in a mod, don't throw that battery in your pocket or your purse unprotected. Okay. Use a battery box, use a battery sleeve, use something. Make sure the contacts are not exposed, because it is that battery's job. I've said this so many times. It is that battery's job. If you put it in your pocket or you put it in your purse, that battery will seek out metal. That's its job. It's going to find metal and it's going to try to short itself. Now, should it short itself in your pocket, that could lead to some pretty severe burns. That could also lead to you being filmed on a store camera somewhere, and you will be the next big vape story because you, the idiot who had the battery in your pocket unprotected and that battery vented. Vaping is bad, right? That's how that works in mainstream media. Vaping is bad, right? So please don't be the next news story. Respect those batteries and keep them protected at all times.
Yeah, I want to give a little plug here.
And one more thing, buy yourself a Battery Mooch. Great resource, great guy. I don't know if he's still on the other show, but get yourself a quality smart charger too. You know, a lot of the mods, they have built-in chargers. And I think for the most part, they work really well. If you want to be as safe as possible, take your batteries out of your mod, charge them externally in a quality smart charger.
Yeah. So this is Battery Mooch's YouTube channel. I highly suggest that you subscribe to it, and it has a lot of information on batteries, a lot of videos on here. And we had him on a previous Smoker show as well, too, if you want to check that out and get some more information when it comes to batteries. Very, very important stuff on the batteries. All right, moving along. We do have a little bit of an advanced gear here segment as well, too. Starting, of course, with RDAs.
RDAs, rebuildable dripping atomizers. These atomizers do not require a separate tank, but instead rely on the user to drip fresh e-juice on the cotton wick when needed. The wick and coil can be accessed through the mouthpiece with very little room between where the vapor is produced and where the point it is inhaled. So what are these things? Rebuildables, what does that mean? That means you got to build them. That means you get them in a box, and if you were to take them and you were to screw them on your device and you were to pour liquid in them, nothing would happen. Nothing would happen because you have to do the build yourself. Now, with a rebuildable, it's not like a replaceable coil head, right? The coil head already has the build in there. You just take that coil head and you screw it into your tank somehow, and then it works, right? With a rebuildable, you actually have to create the coil yourself, unless it comes with pre-coiled coils for you, right? But you have to create the coil yourself. You have to take that coil, you have to install it on the deck, you have to wick it, you have to test it, you have to make sure there's no short circuit, anything like that, and then off you go vaping. It is a very rewarding experience when you do that yourself. It can definitely reduce the cost of vaping because you don't have to buy replaceable coil heads. And you can really kind of fine tune things to how you like them. You can use the materials that you like. You can use the kind of wire that you like. You can use the kind of wick that you like. It's totally up to you how you do that build. But Dimitri did put up a dripping atomizer, so that That's not a tank, right? That is simply the coil with the cotton and everything and a mouthpiece, right? So you basically, you just drip your e-liquid into it. That's what dripping is called. That's why they call it dripping.
You got to do the audio thing. Wheek, wheek, like that.
Squeak, 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 squeak.
Yeah.
Right? And you use it. Now, the problem with dripping is you have to remember to drip, right? Because if you don't remember to drip and you're not using temperature control, you could potentially be greeted with an extremely dry and scratchy hit. I personally am very, very lazy. I am a lazy vapor. I don't want to remember to drip. One of the reasons why I don't like squonking either, right? I just want that tank to be ready, full, and off I go. But so that's just something that you have to remember with a dripping atomizer, that you do have to keep up on the dripping. Otherwise, your flavor and your experience is going to be horrible.
Yeah, and also when you're rebuilding your atomizer, do not cut your finger when you're replacing the cotton. Speaking of RDAs, you might coming into the community, you might hear this term a lot lately, and that is a squonker, right? And I just kind of put this up as a reference, and there's an atomizer that you can see has a hole on the bottom, and a squonker basically is a box that has a bottle of liquid inside, and you press that bottle, and instead of dripping the e-liquid from the top into your RDA, it squonks the liquid from the bottom up to your RDA. So it's kind of like a lazy dripper, if you want to call it that. It just kind of assists you, and you don't have to take your bottle out and put it on top of the liquid all the time. And for some reason, they've made a comeback, and they're very, very popular. They were popular back in 2012 as well, too, but everything just kind of comes full circle. But you're going to hear that a lot. I'm actually using one right here now, which is...
I was just looking for one. They come in all different shapes and sizes, but I think it's also important to point out when it comes to squonkers, right? They also come in a mechanical variety. We talked about mechanicals before, and they come in some come in a semi-mechanical with some protection built in there for you, and then some are like completely regulated, right? Yeah. So like this one right here, this one, I don't have a battery in it right now, but it has, wattage up, wattage down. It's got a whole bunch of different features on it. But it's still a squonker, right? So, important to remember that, squonking is that style where the bottle is on board in the device. And the squonking, the active squonking, is squeezing that bottle and feeding the e-liquid up into the atomizer, whether that atomizer be a bottom-fed RDA or an RDTA. But they do come in different varieties. They come in mechanicals, semi-mechanicals, and fully regulated, all the features and functions.
But that's what squonking is. And then finally...
Squonky? What's squonky?
Squonking. And finally, my favorite.
And mine.
The RBA, the Rebuildable Atomizer Fill.
Also known as an RTA, Rebuildable Tank Atomizer. So these allow the user to disassemble the coil housing and replace the coil inside, rather than disposing of the entire heating element when it has finally reached the end of its life. And that's not entirely accurate wording there, because you actually are replacing the heating element. The heating element is the coil, right? You're not replacing the coil head. So in an RD or an RTA or an RBA, much like the Yaris, right? You're going to have a build deck. You're going to put your build in, very, very similar to a dripping atomizer. You're going to have to build that coil yourself. You're going to have to wick it yourself. But then once you put it all together, it acts like a tank. Okay, it acts like a zenith tank. We'll say a zenith tank, right? Where you fill it up with your e-liquid and you use it as a tank. The big difference between a zenith, which is a replaceable coil head atomizer, and an Yaris replaceable or rebuildable tank atomizer, RTA, is that one is going to, when the coil is spent, right, you're going to just remove the coil head, throw that away, prime a new coil head, and screw it back in. When I guess you can say when the coil is spent in a RT, a rebuildable tank atomizer, there's a lot of acronyms in vaping. You can do actually one of two things, right? With something like that, you can take the cotton out.
I found several options. Try the palace of Cape Coral, Yummy Yummy, and the Chubby's restaurant.
Okay, Google's on a tear.
We just made reservations to Chubby's, I think.
I think I did. You can remove the cotton. You do a little dry burn. I don't like to really kind of glow my coils a lot, because it degrades the metals, right? But you can just do a little dry burn, clean off the coil, and then put some new cotton in. Or you can replace the whole cotton coil assembly, right? So that's kind of the difference between a replaceable coil head tank, like the Zenith, and a replaceable tank atomizer or a rebuildable tank atomizer like the Yaris.
And it's good to explore all those options. For me personally, that's my favorite style of vaping. For the flavor that I'm looking to get out of my liquid, I vape a high PG liquid. I use an RTA. I change the cotton every 2 to 3 days, and then I change the coil once a week. But this is my preferred. It's a lazier way. It's got a little bit more work than just replacing the coil, but I prefer it because I get the best flavor, and it's very, very easy to use. So for somebody that's looking to venture into that, there is some work involved. It's not as easy as replacing the coil in the tank, but that option is there. So Phil, we showed all these ways, right? We showed all these ways, but I mean, seriously, which way is the best to vape?
There is no best way to vape. There's only your way.
Right.
I tell this to people all the time. What's the best device, Phil? How am I supposed to know? What do you like? Well, what tank should I get, Phil? I don't know. I can make some recommendations, but what are you gonna like? Should I mouth to lung or should I direct lung? I don't know. What's going to work for you? It's one of the problems with vaping these days is that there's such a variety of not only products on the market, but experiences too, right? Mouth to lung, direct lung, restricted direct lung, squonking, dripping, tanks, replaceable coil heads, rebuildable. It gets very, very overwhelming and very, very confusing. And I think that's one of the main reasons why. Well, one of the reasons why we have this show is maybe to kind of weed out some of that confusion and help you guys. And that's why we want questions. We want questions in the chat. We want questions on the phone lines. We want to simplify this for you as much as possible. But there is no right or wrong way to vape. There's only your way, right? There's no best way to vape. There's only your way. If it's working for you to keep you off of a cigarette, that is the best way to vape. Right. And I don't care what your device is. I don't care what your build is. I don't care if you're direct lung or mouth to lung or salt nick or regular. I don't care. What I care most about is that you're not smoking a cigarette anymore. And with the technology that's out there these days, with the amount of choices that we have, with the satisfaction that you can get from vaping, if you can't make the transition today, I always say the same thing. Either one, you're not ready to quit, or two, you're not trying hard enough. Because there is some damn good gear out there, some damn satisfying gear out there that will help you quit smoking and get involved in vaping and tobacco harm reduction. Okay, so but again, the title of this was "Where do you start?" And I don't recommend starting complicated. I don't recommend starting full featured. Right? You got to get your feet wet. You got to make sure that you're satisfied. You got to find your style. So you can find your style very, very cheaply with maybe a pod system, maybe a simple T18. T18 I still recommend to this day. It so closely simulates smoking, right? I think that's a smart way to start. Don't spend $300 day one. Don't do that. I think that's just silly, right? I really think you should start slow and work your way up and find your path, find your own journey through vaping. I've often said, because I had the unique opportunity to start vaping when vaping started, right? And I've always, where I am today, there's been a journey to get to where I am today. And every now and then on that journey, I get off on an exit, right? And that exit was the Joy 510. And then that exit was a Cardo tank. And then that exit was a Vivanova. And then that exit was a K-Fun, right? And I always find that exit. I'm very happy on that exit. And I kind of ignore what's going on, around me. As long as I'm happy and as long as I'm not smoking and as long as I'm satisfied, that's the exit for me. So you have to find your exit, guys, as you weed through this stuff. And you'll find it. It's out there for you.
And always remember, just like you say in your videos, taste is subjective and relative to the devices and the vaping style. I do want to bring this point up that there's nothing wrong to use two devices, especially now with the pod systems. And this will be the last part of this segment. I have found that a pod system can help dual users, meaning people that are smoking and vaping at the same time, or those vapors that are not satisfied all the time with their vape, okay? So what do I mean by that? you have your favorite device with your tank. You have 6 milligram nicotine inside or whatever. You're vaping away. But then you have those little humps, like with coffee in the morning or when you have an alcohol or when you're really, really stressed. And that usually drives, especially new vapors, to pick up a cigarette, and they're dual using at the time. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with having a small pod system, whether it be a pod system or something small like the Joytech AIO or something like that. Have a little higher milligram nicotine inside, maybe a 20 milligram nicotine or maybe a 35 milligram nicotine salt, whatever is that going to take away that craving, that desire that you have. You wake up in the morning, you're having your coffee, pick this up, take a couple of hits of that, get that nicotine going, make sure you're satisfying yourself, put it down, and then pick up your other device with the 6 milligram or the 3 milligram that you have on a sub-ohm setting just for the flavor and puff away as long as you're happy. There is nothing wrong with utilizing the pod system in other ways, not just the ways that they're trying to pass it on to you at the vape shop. You can actually use it to cut down on dual use. You can actually use it for the times that you're really, really stressed by simply having a bottle of higher nicotine milligram into that pod system.
I agree. One of the things, like before the pod systems came out and before SaltNic came out, I always recommended was, for people who, man, they just have to have that cigarette. They have to have that cigarette. My recommendation was always have another tank. Have another tank with, we'll say, a 24 milligram standard nicotine in your favorite tobacco flavor that you can find, right? And that tank now becomes your cigarette, right? So when you're really stressed, or morning coffee, or after sex, and you really want that cigarette, unscrew your fruity all day, screw on your cigarette, right? Your high milligram tobacco flavor, and get your cigarette fix. Maybe nowadays, maybe that's not a tank. Maybe that's a pod. Maybe that's a pod with a good tobacco flavor with a very, very high salt nick. Maybe that becomes your cigarette now, right?
Yeah.
But maybe wouldn't it be nice if dual use didn't mean using an e-cig and a cigarette?
Right. Exactly
Wouldn't it be
right.
nice if dual use became, well, I'm going to use my chroma and a pod with salt nick. That's dual use now, right?
Yeah.
I think that would be a terrific thing because that would mean a lot less people smoking.
I think the whole point is that even, if you cut down your cigarettes, it's a great thing. But in order for you to enjoy vaping, the pleasure of vaping, you need to quit smoking to let those taste buds and your receptors in your mouth open up again so you can taste stuff. So one way to do that is to replace that one cigarette with a high nicotine pod. That's all I had to say. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. I was jamming too. That's a pretty nice tune that they picked up.
Yeah, can I say something about that video?
Yeah.
I always get a lot of comments where people are using a device and they're like, I get e-liquid in my mouth, or I get condensation in my mouth. And I see people like maybe like this.
Yeah.
Folks, look at the angle.
Yeah.
Liquid runs down. Okay. So even like this, there's obviously more chance, excuse me, there's more chance of you getting e-liquid in your mouth or condensation in your mouth if you vape like this, horizontal.
Do it again. Do it again. Like,
Okay.
yeah, there you go.
Right? This is a really bad idea, right? Like this, because liquid runs down, right? This is a not so good idea because you have more of a chance of getting e-liquid and condensation in your mouth. If you vape like this, see that little downward slope like that? Much less chance of you getting e-liquid or condensation in your mouth if you vape like. I know that looks really cool, right? But
it really does.
Better results this way, guys.
All right, let's have some fun. Before we get into some liquid testing, I'm really excited about it. We haven't done this in years. In fact, if for you guys that are new coming to this channel, go back and look at some of Phil's videos from 3-4 years ago when he used to do juice reviews on a golf cart up in Rochester, New York. They're a lot of fun. Most of those liquids don't exist anymore, unfortunately. But if you like this segment, let us know. Drop us a comment or leave us a comment in the replay. Let us know if you want to see it done a little bit more. We just thought it would be fun. But before we do that, I do have the remix. Chick. I know we haven't been flagged in a while for a video, but we're going to get flagged with this.
We will.
But this is the remix of a very famous song.
Or is that one song? What's the name of that one song?
In Greece. Solo by 𝗓𝗡𝗡𝗢𝗡 featuring Demi Lovato. 𝗓𝗡𝗡𝗡. And Demi Lovato's in it too.
Yeah, it's a really good song, and I sang it into the phone, and he found it. He's like the guy's amazing. He really is. So I thought, Dimitri, now you haven't seen this remix, but I thought I would do a little remix of that song just for you.
No more. I wanna, but I'm broken hearted. Cry, but I like to party. Touch, but I got nobody here on my own.
Okay, now I know we're recording this live and you didn't actually see it, but I know when you see that remix, you will get a chuckle out of it.
I don't know if chuckle is the right word, but
no, you will. Yeah, trust me, you will get a laugh out of that. Okay.
No more. I wanna, but I'm broken hearted. Cry, but I like to party. Touch, but I got nobody here on my own. I wanna, but I'm broken hearted. Cry, since the day we parted. Touch, but I got nobody, so I do it so low.
I have watched that video today at least 40 times. When your head goes back, quack. By the way, I know you were a DJ, but that was perfectly timed. I mean, you did.
I know. Well, it didn't come through that good on the live stream, but if you go and watch the Greek video, it is perfectly in sync. I promise you that.
That's fantastic.
What did you think? What did you think it was going to be? Because you had. I heard these reservations. You thought it was going to be me busting.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be something with me from a video that you probably shot secretly in Greece or something like that. But let me tell you something. I laughed so hard. My wife watched it. She almost peed herself. It's hilarious. It's really good. Anyway, so
if you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at?
Damn right. All right, so I'm really excited to do this. This is from our sponsor Naked, and they offer a higher milligram strength. So of course we're going to take a look at these. Just a few liquids here and there. We might do this in a future episode as well too. Or if you're a liquid company and you offer higher nicotine strengths, maybe get in touch with us. All right. So what are we going to do first?
Wait.
Yeah.
I'm out of water and I need a palate cleanser. Let me go get another bottle of water.
All right, I'll switch to my camera and I'll explain to everybody what we're doing. All right, so Naked was kind enough to send us these shirts, and along they sent some 12 milligram liquid, which is our preferred nic strength. And always on the my hair is popping up for some reason back here. All right, and always for some reason. In every show that we do, Smoker Show, the number one complaint that we have in the chat is that we can't find higher milligram nicotine strengths. And I understand your pain. I really do. But hopefully we'll be able to change this with this new trend that's coming out, and we'll see some of the higher milligram strengths making a comeback. All right, Phil, what are we doing first?
What are we doing first? What's interesting was we got the entire line from Naked.
Yeah,
right?
That's pretty funny.
I don't know, like 1, 2, 3, 4, like I don't know, it's like 15 different flavors, something like that.
Yeah.
And Dimitri says, "Well, I'm going to pick 3 or 4 flavors, and you pick 3 or 4 flavors." I said, "All right." And I picked 3 flavors, and 2 of the flavors that I picked, Dimitri also picked.
I know, isn't that
That's
funny?
how in sync we are.
We can't make this up. It's bromance. The bromance is real.
It's absolutely real.
By the way, I've tried lava flow in a sub-ohm setting before. I haven't tried it in a 12 milligram setting. I just want to put that
out. Dimitri, are your tanks labeled?
No, I didn't do them. Mine are just sitting right next to the bottle. So, but I have them color coded because I have a purple, a black, and a stainless steel.
Well, you know what? I think I'm going to send you one of these label makers.
Yeah.
Because I not only do I want you to use it for your tanks, right? But I also want you to use it for your soundboard. So you, although I really shouldn't say anything because these past 2 episodes have been rock solid.
Don't jinx me. Don't jinx me.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So this is the way that I have them. Let me move to my Zoom camera.
I need a Zoom camera.
So this is the way that I have them. So I have each bottle, and then I have the tank sitting next to it, and I'm using the 0.5 plexus coil and all the zeniths. It's been saturated. It's been sitting, for a couple hours, and now I'm ready to begin vape. What do you want to vape first?
I'm actually gonna vape them with the 1.6 ohm coil.
Okay, even better. We get 2 different perspectives.
How about the Hawaiian Pog?
I don't have that one. I got Maui Sun.
Oh, all right, let's do the Maui Sun then. The one I picked.
Great.
Let's see.
The one that you pick.
Maui Sun is pineapple, orange, and tangerine.
That sounds right up my alley too. You know that.
You know what sucks is we're both sick and we're doing a liquid review, and I can't taste shit right now, but I'll do my best.
All right, I'm gonna put the 0.5 ohm plexus at 16 watts. And I have the tank open into 2 holes. That is my.
Now, what mod are you using?
I'm using the 𝗘𝗡𝗡𝗢𝗡, the big 𝗘𝗡𝗡𝗢𝗡, the Ultra.
Are you kidding me? The 𝗘𝗡𝗡𝗢𝗡. That's what I'm.
Are you serious? Oh my god! Okay, we didn't plan this, folks. We really didn't.
But
no.
My 𝗘𝗡𝗡𝗢𝗡 is much cooler than your 𝗘𝗡𝗡𝗢𝗡. You know why?
Why?
You know why?
It has your logo on it.
Has my logo.
I have one of those. You gave me one, and I can't find it. I'm sorry, but I do know that you gave me. I know I have it here and somewhere in my vape player.
All right. It.
Or because it is more addicting. Oh, okay, here we go. I told you I was gonna get hate.
Do you know what I just realized?
What?
In the brilliance of me labeling the tank.
Yeah, you covered up the airflow.
No. The airflow is stuff, but I can't use the airflow control.
Is it open at least? Is that open at least?
It is.
All right, here we go. All right, this is Maui Sun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fruity and delicious.
The first thing I get from that is the tangerine.
I get pineapple, the first thing.
No, well, you're wrong.
Definitely on the exhale, I get more pineapple. Definitely.
No, I get a lot of. First of all, it's delicious.
Yeah, it is good.
But I get a lot of the tangerine and the orange, and not as much pineapple on that. But I definitely get the more pineapple on the exhale.
I get more. It's definitely a nice tropical fruit flavor. Right up my alley. I love pineapple vapes, but sometimes they're very, very hard to do. And to me, the predominant flavors coming out is coming pineapple, but I do get the citrus notes in the back. Definitely a good fruity flavor for everybody.
I think if you like orange and like orange and tangerine and like an orangey kind of vape, you'll really, really like this.
I get good throat hit with the 12 milligram. Satisfying. How about you? I think
what I noticed with the 1.6 ohm coil, the flavor, I like the flavor right off the bat. Throat hit comes with a few working the coil a little bit. So, but I am getting throat hit. I'm getting a satisfying amount of throat hit.
That's one thing with the plexus. I cranked this up to 17 watts. Man, the flavor on the plexus is just right off the bat. Good one. I've created a little scale here, so I would like for you to tell me on what number would you like to put the Maui Sun.
Well, based on the description, I mean, it's dead on with the description. I mean, I get orange, tangerine, and pineapple from it. I'd like to get a little bit more pineapple. And I think I'm not much of an orange vapor, right?
Yeah.
So, even when I was doing the liquid reviews, you have to look beyond your personal likes and dislikes, right? Because I always said like the anise flavor. I called it the anus flavor.
Yeah.
A lot of people love that flavor. I can't stand vaping that flavor, right? But you have to look past what you like and what you don't like. I would give that a 4.
So let me bring up the scale. This is the 𝗘𝗡𝗡𝗢𝗡 bullet shell grading scale, and 𝗘𝗡𝗡𝗡𝗢𝗡 gives this particular one 4 bullets for the Maui Sun. All right, moving along. What are we doing next? Let's do the lava flow.
You're not. There's no Dimitri.
No, it's just for vape for juice reviews.
Yeah,
you are known for juice reviews, so I just created the 𝗘𝗡𝗡𝗢𝗡 bullet shell scale.
Somebody said that we should revisit the crab juice. We should show the crab juice review That would be fun. That would be fun to show on a video.
Sure, if we
right?
have,
Because that would be a very. Do you have the ability to do that?
yeah, I can't do it right now though.
All right.
Moving along. Well, look what I got. Let's do. This is the most popular flavor, if I'm not mistaken, from Naked, the lava flow.
Lava flow.
So because it's the lava flow, I put it on a pink Zenith.
Yeah, I'm sure that's why you
See
put
what
it on
I did there?
And lava flow, by the way, strawberry, pineapple, and coconut. Now that would be right up my alley.
That
right?
to me, it's not, because I'm not a coconut fan. Okay?
I like coconut,
but I'm willing to try it for you.
Oh, that's very sweet. I thought of a scale that you can use. If we're going to use the bullet scale for me, I have the perfect scale for you.
Oh,
the
boy.
Yaris scale. With little tiny Yarises. Okay, let's do that. Next show, okay?
All right, I'll make it happen. I'll make it happen, Captain. All right, here we go. Lava flow.
Oh, I love that.
It's not for me.
Oh, that's terrific.
I'm picking up coconut mostly. How about you?
Yeah, but it's a good coconut. So you know what that's like I'm vaping tanning oil. God knows I love tanning oil.
You know, brings you back to the days of the Rochester basement suntan room.
Yeah, now I got the real. I overprimed my coil. And this happens. This happens, folks. I overprime my coil. The power of Christ compels you. There we go.
Somebody just tried to call me on on Facebook. Go ahead.
No, that's delicious. For me, that's a 5 bullet.
It's definitely coconutty, and it's definitely tropical. It's not my favorite flavor by far, but on the 𝗘𝗡𝗡𝗢𝗘 bullet shell grading scale, it does get a very, very whopping 5. Quack 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 in the back.
It's almost like a pina colada with strawberry.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, that's definitely a very accurate description. But you know me, I just don't like coconut, so it's not for me. All right, now we have 2 different flavors. We didn't match these flavors up. I'll go first.
You go first.
I'm really, really excited to try about this flavor here. This is green lemon, and it's basically like a sour worms type flavor with sweet and sour lemon and lime, which is sounds like just right up my alley.
Are you sure it's not Green Blast?
No, there's a different one. There's a green lemon and there's a green blast.
Okay, let me see if I can find that. Is that under the cream or the menthol or the ice?
No, it's not. I've got the description here. I'll bring it up for you right now. Hold on. I'm bringing it up here. This is described as, this is from MVS, My Vapor Store, our sponsor. Refreshing lime-infused flavor with mix of sweet and sour sugar that hits all the right notes. Just like a sour, whatever they call them. Sour.
Oh, here it is. Green lemon. Okay. That's under their fusion line. Okay.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And that's lemon, lime, and citrus. What are you thinking about that, pal?
I like it.
You like that?
It's not as sweet as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I say the same thing about you sometimes. God, it's so sexy watching you vape like that. Really.
I'm getting more of the lime, and I'm getting a little bit more of the sour than I'm getting the sweet. It's definitely up my palate. I'm not gonna say it's the favorite one that I've tried, but definitely it kind of reminds me of a sour gummy, but more on the sour side than on the sweet side.
Got it.
I'm getting more of the gummy, actually, not the powdered sugar that's usually on those gummies.
How many Yarises would you give it? Out of 5 Yarises?
I'd give this one a 3.
3
I was a little bit more excited to try this, but it's not as, I like mine to be a little bit more balanced out. I want to get that sourness, but I do want that sweetness to come on top. I'm not getting a lot of sweetness out of this.
We should do these again when we're not sick.
All right, let's move on to the one that you had. Which one are you trying now?
All right, hold on a second. I definitely over primed.
Such a noob. But this is great because somebody that's watching this video knows exactly what to do if they over prime or they flood their tank.
See, you guys watching this? Yeah. If you over prime, if you do get if you puff and you feel like a little gurgle or there's like liquid in the way of your air channel, There's a few different ways you can combat that, right? Either you can vape through it, which isn't very enjoyable, or you can. What I did before was the power of Christ compels you. Now, of course, if you do that indoors, do put a piece of vapor towel in front of your mouthpiece so that you don't get e-liquid all over the place, and then you're going to step on it and you're going to slide across the floor. Okay, not a good thing. And the other thing too, depending on the kind of tank that you have, is you blow up. Now, if you blow down into your tank like this, all you're going to do is you're going to make the problem worse. Okay, but if you put some vapor towel in front of your airflow like that and you blow up into it like that, that's going to clear it right out for you. Okay. This is Hawaiian POG. And I'm excited about this one. This one is orange, passion fruit, and guava. And I'm assuming that the POG means the passion fruit, orange, and guava, POG. So let's go ahead and give this one a shot. These are fruity and delicious, guys. I like that one too. The you get a lot of the orange on the exhale, and the passion fruit and the guava. It's just like perfectly balanced. It's not like I'm getting one over the other.
I do have to you look like you're really, really enjoying that on a scale.
I am. I like this more than the lava flow.
Really? On the 𝗘𝗡𝗧𝗘𝗖𝗛 scale.
I like fruity vapes, but I like clean. The best way to describe it would be clean, crisp, fruity vapes,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I don't like them to be like laden with sweetener. I don't like them to be like heavy with creams. That one's a 5 for me too. That one's delicious.
5 bullets on the 𝗘𝗡𝗧𝗘𝗛 scale. Pretty awesome. That's pretty impressive for you. I'll say from the 3 that we tried, for me my favorite one was the Maui-san.
You know what? If I were doing e-liquid reviews, that one would get a street shout out right there.
That's good. That's a good thing. I do want to show one more thing while we're here, and I'm kind of doing this on the fly, but I do want to try because tobaccos are very, very important. I think when we're transitioning. So I have here the Motive 2, which is a pod system. This is from Joytech. One of the good things about this, and I love seeing this now, it's something I complain about on my channel where I do pod reviews. This one does come with 2 pods in it. Very, very rare. Most of the pod systems come on with 1 pod, which makes no sense at all. All right, so I'm going to fill this up with a tobacco flavor. All right, this is the Motive. This is the pod, and this is their Patriots. This is the tobacco flavor that they have at 12 milligrams. So we're going to try it out. And of course, it has one of these little lovely things on the bottom that you love so much, Phil.
I hate plugs.
Little plug that goes on the bottom. See if I can get it out of the way because this is a dripper bottle, and I'm going to try to do this, like I said, again on the fly. All right, I'm going to take some of this Patriot and put it inside.
Put some of that Patriot inside.
See if I don't know if it fits this this dripper. Oh, it does, yeah. There you go. Whoop. Like my little sound effects. Whoop. Loop. I can't see how much I got in there. Okay.
Bob, I agree with you. I like higher PG flavors too. I find I agree with you on the much more flavor, but I also feel that like higher PG, 50-50 or even 60-40 PG produces a harsher throat hit that I actually like, right? That's one of the reasons why I like higher PG liquids. Also, like if a liquid is higher PG too, sometimes you get a higher VG with a 12 milligram, and you still get the throat hit, but it's not as thumpy and as defined as you want it to be. When you go higher PG, you do wind up getting that thumpy, defined throat hit that I definitely need and like from a vape.
I think that's one of the reasons why, some of the new vapors, when they pick up a vape, they cough or they find it a little bit harsh. Of course, they're forgetting that, when you first light a cigarette, you do the same thing. I'm going to try to prime this a little bit. I'm trying to figure out where the air comes from. Where does the air come from? I can't block it.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to prime it.
Are you playing a flute? You look like you're playing a flute.
I'm trying to dry pull on the pod,
Yeah,
which
I know
is
what
a
you're doing.
technique to accelerate the wicking.
Just suck really hard, man. You excel at that.
Where's the air come from this pod, though? I'm blocking everything, and it's still air coming in. It's not
It
coming
comes from the outside.
it comes from somewhere on the pod. All right, here we go. I am going to try. I'm excited to try this pod. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work, but we got 12 milligram tobacco liquid in it. It's not working. Does it have an on and off?
Hey,
Yeah.
these are the problems that you're gonna have, folks. It happens to the best of us.
It's not working. It really isn't. Is it a dud?
All right.
I don't know if it's dead. Do you think it's dead?
Did you charge it?
No.
No.
I just took it out of the box and I just put
Is
it
it
on
an
the regular-
automatic or a manual?
It's automatic. Everything looks to be in good shape. Well, I guess we're not going to try Patriots.
All right. You have something else there that you can load it in. He's going for a backup, ladies and gentlemen.
I think it's dead. I think the battery's dead because the light's red on it. So it is what it is. All right, let's get some phone calls and I'll play around with this a little bit.
Okay.
215-383-5752. Give us a call if you want to. Why is your camera not focus? Focus your camera, please.
Hold on, I'm
Can you
sorry.
do that? Thank you very much. Because I don't
There
like
we
to see it. There you go. 215-383-5752. Give us a call. We've got some kits to pass out for you guys if you want to help somebody to quit smoking.
Oh
And
boy,
just,
do I not agree with Charlie?
What did Charlie say?
He somebody deleted it already. Never mind.
All right, so give us a call, and we'll pass on some kits to you. And don't be shy. We don't bite. 215-383-5752. Nobody's calling, Phil. What is it? Nobody.
No call. We're trying to give stuff away. All you got to do is call. I mean,
for real. All you gotta do is say it's not a lot of work, and then
real.
and then we can.
do we have any questions from the chat?
And if you want to call and bitch about me saying that nicotine salt was created to be addictive, you can do that as well too. I don't have any problem to do it. All right, let me see if I got any questions here built out.
I am digging that Hawaiian POD, man.
Are you?
Yeah, really.
Is anyone else going for cheaper and more simple mods after a while of vaping? Phil is, right?
Yeah, what I noticed was, back when I first started vaping, I was always excited to put that next build in the next tank, and it didn't matter how complex or how difficult that tank was.
Yeah.
It was just more of a challenge for me. Now what I find myself when it comes to tanks, just easier is better. Simple is better for me. Less work, less time involved. I just like to fill and go, easy coil replacement. One of the reasons why we designed the Zenith the way that we did, even in rebuildable tanks, I like very, very simple. But I've never been a complex build kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
I've never really, gotten into the dual coils. To me, dual coil is just twice the amount of work. And I'm sure that, other people are solid on dual coil. That's all they use. That's great. But different things for different people. And I think what you're going to find out is, and maybe this isn't everybody, but maybe this is some folks, as you're younger, you're more involved and you want more complex things. And then maybe as you get a little bit older, you don't want that. You just want simple and easy and, fill and go type systems. So, I think it's going to, I think what you use and what you enjoy could potentially change as you mature, as you grow older, as you move on in life. That's certainly something that can happen.
Say hi to Electra if you don't mind.
Electra. Oh,
Yeah.
the Electra that we met at in Greece?
Yeah, she just woke up.
Oh, hi. Good morning.
So I'm going on the fly here. I just pulled out a Joytech Ego AIO, just letting you know.
Hold on.
Just
Say
keep
hello
going.
to Scott.
Hey, Scott. What's up, Scott?
There you go. Good
All
job.
right.
Good
So
job.
we got some phone calls. I'm going to bring a phone call in while I'm doing this, and you can handle the phone call, okay? 304, you're first on the air on the Smoker Show with Phil and Dimmy. Go ahead.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Great. How are you?
Good, how are you?
What's your name? Where you calling from?
Cody, calling from West.
Cody calling from West Virginia?
Yes, sir.
What's up? You want a kit? You want to help somebody quit smoking?
Yes, I would love to. I recently just quit smoking myself. Been using a vape for about 4 months now, and my kids is really why I quit. And me and their mother have separated, but she still smokes, and they've seen my results. They've seen me be able to quit, and they've been excuse me, they've been asking me, if I would buy their mother a device, and I told them, I might, we'll see. And I caught the show on tonight, and I figure it'd be a great thing to give to her. She just had a birthday today, actually, so something to help her be around for the kids.
Well,
I think that's fantastic. I think that's fantastic. How was making the conversion from smoking to vaping for you? How did that go for you?
It was a little hard at first. About 4 years ago, I tried using a pen device, but at the time I used it a lot. Whenever I ran out of the flavor that I liked, though, I went back to smoking. I'd stop in and out of some vape shops every once in a while. The problem with back then was people would, give me the cheap juice that was 18 milligram or 12 milligram, and one flavor might be excellent, would work great for me, and then shortly, the next trip there to a different shop, it would be horrible juice, and I, would have just wasted my time and money. So I went back to smoking. But this time I've had, I haven't smoked a cigarette at all in about 4 months now.
Clap, Dimitri.
Yes, absolutely. And also, I want to commend you. Even though you separated with your ex-wife, you still want to get her off cigarettes, and I think that's very admirable for any man to do. Way to step it up. All right, what do you know what she smokes and how much she smokes?
She smokes about 2 packs a day, and menthol cigarettes is what she always smoked.
All right. So, Cody, I'm going to get you a Chroma kit because she's going to need that battery kit with a Zenith, and I'm going to get you some higher-powered liquid to go along with it. I've got your area code down, Cody, because I can see it here from the phone board. The easiest way to do this is facebook.com/vapinggreek. Send me a private message. Even though we're not friends, I'm going to go to my other box, and I'm going to see it with your name and your address, and I'll get it out in the mail for you this week, okay?
All right, I appreciate it.
Thanks,
guys.
Cody. Take care, man.
Thank you, Cody.
Keep on
Good
vaping.
job.
Keep on vaping. All right, 573. You're on the air with Phil and the Italian Stallion.
How's it going, the Italian Stallion?
Yeah, you can have the Italian Stallion, no problem. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name's Ibrahim. I'm calling from Missouri.
What was your first name again? I'm sorry.
Ibrahim.
Ibrahim. Oh, that's easy.
Yes, it's like Abraham.
Yes. And you calling from Missouri, and I got your area code. Who do you want to get off cigarettes?
Well, I'm not really like a big cigarette smoker. I kind of go on and off between maybe occasionally socially I'll smoke a cigarette here and there if I'm out with some friends. But I mostly, vape like a 12 milligram, 5 pounds kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And before when I started back in I think it was 2015 or so, I started with more like a direct lung, and I was doing that for like two years or so. And then just recently I said, well, might as well try a mouth to lung just to see how it is. And so I tried the Yaris, and I like it so much I've just completely switched to mouth to lung now.
It's amazing how people go backwards sometimes and they enjoy vaping as well too. That's fantastic. Hey, do you want us to send you a kit?
Sure. Yeah, my roommate, he oftentimes, he had a vape at one point, but then now he lost it, and I was trying to get that as a gift for him because he's always...
Fantastic. Is he a heavy smoker?
Huh?
Is he a heavy smoker?
I mean, not really. We're still in college, so we don't smoke like a whole lot, but it's still like it's still like hard leaf tobacco versus e-juice and stuff like that.
I got you.
So.
Phil, maybe that Joystick box kit with
the basil.
The basil, yeah, I think the basil would be really, really good for him.
Yep.
Basil kit comes with a tank, and we're gonna get some liquid for you, Abraham. I butchered your name one more time. I got your area code. Just make sure you send me a message, private message on Facebook, facebook.com/vapinggreek, and with your name and your address, and just put your area code there so I know who you are. Okay.
Awesome. That sounds great. I think you'll appreciate it.
You're a great dude, and give us a call back. Let us know how it does for him.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for calling in. I want to just rip through some questions here, some fun questions I'm seeing in the chat.
Yeah.
To Annette, yes, we are going to have a pod system. It's going to be a little bit different. We sneak peeked it to a few folks at in Greece. They've seen at least photos. We have.
I would call it an AIO pod system.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Right. Okay. I mean,
we're not confused.
That's fine. Let's call it an AIO. Definitely not like a jewel pod.
Yeah.
Okay. How about that? And we have prototypes. There it is. You saw it just there, and hopefully it's going to be out there soon. So that's to Annette. Let's see what else.
And the liquids that we're trying today are all 12 milligram, by the way, from Naked. And I actually did put the Patriot in an Ego AIO. Eco. See, I did it on the fly, and it's actually a very, very good, strong tobacco. Very,
are you enjoying it?
Very, no, I hate it, which means it's very, very good.
Which means it's perfect.
Which means it's perfect for smokers, but it does have a lot of that leafy aftertaste in it, kind of like a cigarette. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. To Rob Jones 82. No, I don't torch my wire anymore. That was back when I was using stainless steel. Not stainless steel, but titanium, especially thinner titanium. Just kind of heating it up like that. It just took any impurities off of it, if there was any machining oil off of it, and it also made it a lot easier to coil without it unwrapping.
Yeah.
So, but now I'm using 26 gauge stainless steel, and I don't have that problem anymore.
All right, let me move along. I got a lot of calls. 919. That's got to be North Carolina. 919. You're on the air with Demi and the creamy, robust Phil Busardo.
Freak.
Good Lord.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey guys,
exactly.
This is Daniel Morrison. I talked to you guys a couple of weeks ago, so I'm not trying to join Team Free shit, right, Demi?
It's okay. It's okay.
But I wanted to throw something out there because I'm so dissatisfied with all these vape shops, and I know you went on a little rant, and this isn't the rant show. That's next Tuesday.
Yeah.
But you can reach out to the online community, and people will help you with your experience if you can't find it in the vape shop. I've hit every vape shop in 100 miles and only found one that's decent.
Yeah.
And that frustrates me.
Daniel, I hate to hear that.
So,
I really do.
Reach out to this community or the Platform Series group on Facebook, and I bet you there's somebody within a 25 mile radius that'll have a cup of coffee with you and walk you down the path. So that's a good resource out there for you.
That's very, very good advice, Daniel.
It is really good advice. And I'm, when I started vaping, where I got all my answers from was ECF, the Electronic Cigarette Forum, which is one of the first electronic cigarette forums that was out there, and I think it's still one of the best. There are so many helpful people. The one problem that you get from forums when you ask a question is sometimes you get too many answers, and the answers may not all jive.
Yeah.
So you really have to find somebody that will really kind of thinks the way you think, right? Not only on the platform group, but my Facebook group, also my email address, 𝗲𝗡𝗎𝗓@tasteyourjuice.com. I answer questions all day long. So, if anybody out there has any questions and they don't want to put them in the chat or they don't want to call in, you're more than welcome to send me an email, and I'd be happy to answer your question.
Thank you, Daniel, for calling in for that rant. We certainly appreciate it, and keep on vaping. 304, you're on the air with Demi and the Italian Dream, Phil Busardo.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Great. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Andy, and I'm also calling from West Virginia.
Awesome. Wow. West Virginia in the house tonight. Tell us who you want a kit for.
Well, I've got a good friend who I've tried some of the cheap disposable or the reusable pods, and it's just not getting it done for him. So thought maybe this would work for him.
Hey, how long has he been a smoker? Is he a heavy smoker? Do you know maybe what type of cigarettes he vapes? I mean, he smokes?
He smokes lights. He's probably a 2-pack a day smoker.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Phil?
smokes lights, 2-pack a day. Like either a basal maybe, or maybe an Ego AIO, the original one, not the Eco.
Yeah, let me send. You know what? I'm gonna send him both. I'm gonna send him a small
go.
round pen, and I'm also gonna send him the basal box. That way he can try both of them and see which one fits a little bit better for him. I'm kind of concerned about the light, but I'm also concerned about the heavy smoker as well too. Okay.
Right.
All right, Andy, you know the drill. Send me a Facebook message with your name and your area code and your address, and I'll get him out with some 18 milligram liquid out for you next week, okay?
Okay, I got a question for you guys. So everybody talks about how vaping is so much safer than smoking.
Sure.
But why are advocates not talking about some of the health benefits of nicotine?
Well, it's kind of hard in a country like the United States that has demonized nicotine over the last 50 years to change that mindset. I mean, you're talking about trying to change the perception of, 250 million people in the United States with zero media budget, right? It's very, very difficult to do that. I get where you're coming from. I've seen the studies myself. I've actually, worked with Dr. F on a couple of these things.
We've talked about them. We've talked about some of the benefits of nicotine on earlier smoker shows.
Yeah, it's just that
I've listened to most of them. It's sort of like you allude to them, but that it successfully treats ADHD, that it improves cognitive function in the dementia patient, that it actually long-term nicotine use significantly reduces your chances of developing Parkinson's disease.
Yeah, absolutely.
And these are all blinded, controlled studies and meta-analysis of 300,000 insurance patients. The data's out there. It has benefits. And the fact that nicotine alone is not really addictive. It's really hard for a scientist to get a rat addicted to pure nicotine.
Correct. Again, the issue is that we don't have the media budget to get out there and be on CNN for 30 seconds to get our point across. That's what it boils down to. Until this industry realizes, and I'm talking about the people that sell these products, is that's where we should be investing and not in false prophets that come around and take money in advocacy, then nothing's going to change. Unfortunately, the U.S. is a pay-to-play arena when it comes to media, and we have to pay to play, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I think one of the big problems too,
Thanks for calling, by the way. I want to put you on hold. Thank you.
Yeah, did you get his information?
I sure did. Go ahead.
Okay. One of the big problems too is when the general public hears nicotine, they think cigarette.
Yeah.
Okay. There's that they cannot separate the two.
Yeah.
Right. And the problem is the cigarette is the evilness, right? That's the carcinogens. That's the chemicals. That's the burning paper. That's the bad stuff for you, right? But since the beginning of time, nicotine has always been associated with burning tobacco leaves.
Yeah.
Right. We need to separate that too, and maybe that'll happen in a generation or two. Maybe that'll happen, and maybe nicotine will be just another caffeine, right? But unfortunately, now they're just too tied together.
Yeah.
But you have to remember that the danger of nicotine is not necessarily the nicotine. The danger of nicotine is the delivery method. And that delivery method, to this point, has always been the cigarette, right?
All right, I got a bunch of phone calls.
All right. Let's hit
So I'm just gonna take them based on their hold time, okay? Just so everybody knows, because they go in line in my queue. So 504, you're on the air with Dimitri and the mozzarella king of Florida, Phil Busardo. What's up?
Freak.
Hi guys, this is Lewis from New Orleans.
Hey Lewis.
Hey Lewis.
Hey guys. I've been vaping about 4 years now. I'm totally a hobbyist, not really a cloud chaser, but I like to build and I like, some higher wattage, 80 watts around there and stuff. I've given several devices to my girlfriend's mother, who's a 2-pack a day, maybe 2.5-pack a day Marlboro red smoker. And, I gave her like a Pico with a little Pico tank, and nothing I give her seems to satisfy her. I'm kind of stuck on her. I've converted a lot of people. I'm one of those guys that, I'll buy somebody a kit. I'll give my equipment away, and she's just stuck. She just keeps going back to smoking, and I don't know what to do with her. I've converted a bunch of people, and she's like really, really resisting it. I want to find her that satisfying vape. I know it's possible. She likes the idea of it. She's always asking me stuff about it. I don't know what to get her.
Phil?
Inikin T18. We have, so let's do something really kind of really powerful. Let's do an Inikin T18, and let's do the Naked 100, the Naked 100 Patriots, 35 milligram salt.
Oh, that sounds good.
Right? Maybe I mean
Okay,
that's like
that should. Is that going to give her the throat hit though?
The 35 will actually give you a little bit of a throat hit, more so than something lower when it comes to salt and nicotine. I actually tried it. I put 35 milligram nicotine in this new AIO from Joytech. I think it's called the Mansion. Again, I think China's just running out of names. But to me, it was too intense for me. It was too intense for me. So, and I'm a high nic vapor. So I think that 35. I'm also going to send you some regular nicotine, like 18, something like that. I'll send you some of that as well too, just to try out. But I think that the Inikin T18 in that kind of configuration, I think that might just do the trick.
Yeah, and I'm actually I reached in the back here, and
Go ahead.
I've got the American Patriot in the 12 milligram standard, and I've got the American Patriot in the Saltnik 36. So maybe we send both of these along with the T18.
Yes, and this is a very good experiment for us as well too, Louis. So please call us back in 2 weeks and let us know how it went. And if that doesn't work, let's find something else. I make it my mission to make her quit smoking. So now you're stuck with me and Phil as well too.
It's fine by me, guys.
Thanks, Louis. I appreciate it. Send me a message on Facebook, facebook.com/vapinggreek with your name, your area code, and your address, and I will get it out sometime this week, okay?
All right, Dan, do I ever break out the old Kabuki?
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you. Dan Driscoll, do I ever break out the old Kabuki or K-Fun, or do you stick with your own tanks now? The Kabuki, no. The K-Fun on occasion, yes, absolutely. Still one of my favorite atomizers. But I was thinking about this the other night, and this has become my beater. Okay, this has become my Pro-Vari Radius and my Kabuki. Right. I just love how simple and easy. If I look at everything that's on the counter, I just grab the old standby, and it's a Chroma with a Zenith, and I absolutely love this rig.
Yeah.
I mean, it's chipped up now. I mean, it's gotten beat up. It's got tons of miles on it. It almost has its own frequent flyer number. But this has become my Pro Vape Radius and my Kabuki.
Does it get upgraded? Oh, by the way, I'm really enjoying the Maui Sun. I'm just gonna put that one more time out there because the Maui Sun, it reminds me of this flavor I used to get from Gourmet Vapor back in the day, like in 2011. Yeah. This orangey dream type thing, and it really reminds me of that. All right, let me take one more call.
Take one more call.
859. You're on the air.
Seconds.
Ignore the lady in the background.
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Name's Joshua, calling from Kentucky.
Joshua from Kentucky. How you doing?
Hey, Joshua. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about you? How are you guys doing this evening?
Oh, man, we are fantastic, and we're ready to help people quit smoking. Who do you want to get a kit for?
I think I've tried for
60 seconds
to get my significant other to quit, and she's tried, and the most she's ever got through was about a day or maybe two at the most. And I've literally tried a couple of things. Got her the little the Ego 10 and different things. She didn't like them, so I gave them away. And it seems that she has either got a PG sensitivity or something to that extent. I can't quite pinpoint what the problem is, but she does want to quit. It's just that she coughs no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, we get it. So have you tried salt nicotine with her?
Say again.
Have you tried salt nicotine?
I did try that, and one of the devices, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I tried it. It seemed to work, but it was just very brief.
Was it a smaller device? Was it like a pod device, or was it like a bigger device?
It was a pod.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have an idea. I have an idea.
Boulder, maybe.
I have an idea.
The boulder. The boulder.
Yeah, the boulders. That's not going to satisfy her. So I have an idea. I'm going to send her a chroma kit, but a girly looking one. okay? Like a purple or red or something like that she can relate to as a woman, number one. Number two, I am going to put some salt nicotine, but lower strength, okay? That way she can put it in the zenith tank and still get the satisfaction of the nicotine because it does vaporize more efficiently, but it's not going to give her that harshness. She's not going to have that harshness in the throat that's going to make her cough. I think I got some 18 milligram fresh pressed over here from Jeff Evans out in California. Great guy that sent me a bunch of samples over here. I'm going to put that inside. I'm also going to put some 12 milligram nicotine inside, something flavored for her. Maybe she can try something flavored as well, too, of regular nicotine. And let's see if this chroma kit will be able to help her out. I'll send some extra coils with it as well, too.
Outstanding.
All right, Joshua, you know the drill. Send me a message at facebook.com/vapinggreek with your name, your address, and your area code, and fresh pressed. We'll make sure to get this thing out for you, okay?
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you both.
Thank you, Joshua, and good luck to
Love what
you
you're
and
doing.
to your
Thanks,
wife. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, one more. Yeah, go ahead.
Sometimes it's really. I mean, it was difficult for me to get my wife to quit smoking, right? And it was, as you can imagine, she has access to any vape gear or any vape device that she wants. But it was just finding the right thing. Not only finding the right thing, but finding the right time for her too. Some people they're just not ready to quit. You have to want to quit. You have to understand how much better this is for you than smoking. And sometimes you just have to sit that person down and say, don't talk about vaping and don't talk about smoking. Don't talk about anything. Just explain to them how important how important they are in your life, right? And you want them to be healthy and you want them to live longer. You want them to live longer so that you could be together with your loved one, longer. And maybe sometimes that'll work, right? And
don't pressure them though that's one thing. Don't pressure, especially with women. Don't constantly try this, and something that I should have told Joshua as well too, and I hope he's still listening. Don't pressure them. Let's find the right equipment. All right. One's been waiting very patiently. This is the last one. 603. You're on the air. Oh, with Phil and Demi. What's your name? Where you calling from? Hello.
Everything was going too smooth.
This is not me. Trust me. It's not.
No, I know it's not your
603. 603.
Hello.
Hi. Your name and where you calling from?
My name's Jesse. It's great to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Jesse. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. All right. We haven't had one of those today. And who do you want to get a kit for?
I would love to get a kit for my mother. I've tried a couple times to get her off of cigarettes, and it's not working.
All right. So, first of all, how old is your mother, if you don't mind me asking?
She's probably she's 40, almost 50 years old now.
Almost 50 years old.
She started smoking when she was in her late 20s.
Wow.
She didn't start really young.
Late bloomer. What have you tried to give her so far?
I got her a Juno kit, a mouth-to-lung Juno kit, and she just didn't seem to like it.
Did you get any feedback from her? Like, what exactly she didn't like? Like, she didn't like the flavor, she didn't like the taste, she didn't get satisfied?
I have no idea. I really want her to not smoke cigarettes anymore, but she doesn't seem to want to come to the other side.
See, I think one of the problems with the pod systems, Phil, again, this is something that we don't think about, is like maybe they're looking to get something more out of it, and it's not giving them what they're looking for. Will you agree with that?
It could be. I mean, maybe on a lot of the pod systems, you don't get throat hit, right? Yeah. Maybe that's what people need. Maybe moving to the salt nic with this really smooth sensation is not good for some folks, right? Yeah. They want that thump. Exactly. They want that harshness of a cigarette.
Yeah. She smokes regular or menthol, do you know?
Yeah, she smokes Camel cigarettes. Honestly, I've been vaping for a couple of years, and when I crave a cigarette, I need a 12 milligram 50-50 hit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly, I think, what we're going to get her as well, too. How about T18 or T20 feel with some tobacco liquid?
I would strongly recommend a smoke 300-watt mod and a baby piece. I think that would be
a smoke stick, baby. That's what we need, a smoke stick. All right, Jesse.
Your mom will be blowing O's before you know it.
Jesse, we're gonna get her started with a Nicotine kit and some tobacco, some 12 milligram tobacco. I'm gonna throw some salt in there as well too, just to have it. And maybe she wants something that's a little bit more smoother, but with a little bit more nicotine. And please do me a favor, even if you don't feel like calling, come back in a couple of weeks. Let us know how that works out for her. And again, like I said, we need to try different things depending on who the person is. If something does not work, maybe something else will work, and we'll go from there. Okay, Jesse?
Exactly. We need to try something else.
Absolutely,
I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for calling. And of course, we have to thank all of our sponsors for making this possible. Look, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people that possibly can help somebody. And listen, we get it. There's no way we can monitor this, who gets these kits and what they do with them. All we can do is just goodwill from our part. And of course, thank the sponsors for making these products available. Okay. So if you do get this kit, do try to help somebody quit smoking. If you don't, if you just want to get it and vape it yourself, it is what it is. Enjoy it, I guess. That's what it boils down to. But thank you so much to all of our sponsors for being able to do this. It really means a lot to me and Phil to be able to try to help some smokers quit, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's for us, that's always what it's been about. That's always what it will be about. And if we could do some good through this show, if we could get some good information out there and get some people to quit, I could see that as nothing but a good thing.
All right, we got one more spot here from our sponsors, and that is 5 out in California. And we'll be back with our closing thoughts.
5 Blue is a 5 flavor blend lineup that I started working on back prior to August 8th, 2016. And these are registered flavors that are all sea salted flavors. You look at cuisine and you look at things that you eat on a daily basis. A dash of salt to a steak makes it taste that much better. A dash of salt to caramel, milk chocolate, melon, coffee, it enhances flavor. And that's what 5 Ponds is all about. We're a flavor company, and 5 Ponds Blue is all about sea salt and what sea salt can do to the flavors in these blends. You taste it in the vapor, you experience it in the vapor, and you might taste it on your lips. This is something new, this is something different, this is something that pushes the envelope once again, which is something that I think we're known for. These are not nic salts, these are artisan sea salts from around the globe that we have mimicked, that are designed to enhance flavor, because 5 Ponds is, after all, a flavor company. We have been since 2012. That is the passion. The passion is flavor and getting people off of combustible tobacco and offsetting the leading cause of death in the world. And I hope these flavors do that.
All right.
You know what I love about that commercial? I love that he specifically said that these are not salt nicks, right? Because in all the confusion, right, that between salt nick and regular nick, because I get questions every day on the two. Here comes 5 Ponds with a salt line that's not a salt line, but it is a salt line. I love
Absolutely. It is. Well, our passion is to help people quit smoking, and I hope that we are contributing just a little bit to curb the tobacco-related illnesses and deaths in this country. I really do hope so. So with that, I am going to start with you, Mr. 𝗓𝗡𝗘𝗧𝗘𝗖𝗛, and your final thoughts.
My final thoughts. If I squeeze this into my, if I boil this down and put it in my tank, can I vape this direct? I don't know. That's probably not a good thing. Do you, with the amount of the menthol that you vape,
I know.
How do you even get sick anymore? Do you still get sick?
I don't get sick until 𝗓𝗡𝗪𝗘𝗧𝗘𝗖𝗛 comes very close up to my face and breathes in an elevator that fits literally one person, and there was 3 of us in there, and just breathes directly into my face. That's how I get sick, because I generally don't get sick.
My final thoughts are, to everybody who watches the show, we certainly do appreciate it. Remember, the show is for smokers, not vapors. So if you do have a loved one in your life, if you have somebody you know who's a smoker, please send them this way to the show. They don't have to watch it live. They can certainly watch the replay. But that's the purpose of the show, to reach more smokers, to get the positive messages out there about vaping, and hopefully get some converts so that people can live a longer life.
Very, very well said. By the way, I just want to say just a couple things. I do owe a couple pod systems from my channel. Those are going to go out this week because since we're in Greece, I didn't get a chance to sip them out. So if you're listening and you're on my channel as well too, those pod systems will go out this week. Obviously, today's episode, a little bit more going back to the basics because I do believe that as an industry, as a community, as vapers, we forgot where we came from. And that's the reason why we do the show, to always remember that we were smokers once and there's other smokers out there that need our help. Thanks to our wonderful sponsors, Inikin, Joytech, 5 Ponds, My Vapor Store, Naked 100, and of course, the Vaping Advocate that's providing the phone lines. That was fun. Let's do it again on the next Smoker Show. Bring a smoker or come on the next Smoker Show. Call us towards the end of the show. We're going to give away some more kits. And let's just try to make this into a habit because this is what we're here for. And we'd like to get the feedback from you as well, too. When you get a kit, what went wrong? What worked? What didn't work? That helps us improve our recommendations. And, of course, it helps improve the people that are listening as well, too. All right? Having said that, we certainly appreciate you watching. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a like. Give us a share. Help this show grow. Programming note, we will be in Indiana this weekend at the Midwest Vapor Expo in Lawrenceville. I think it's Lawrenceville. Anyway, wherever the casino is in Indiana, that's where we're going to be at. And we will be at the Inikin booth showing off our products. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
Thanks for watching.